You know, I love the kind of woman that will actually just kill me. You know, when I left the house today, I was thinking, damn, I really hope some hot chick paints my brains all over some fucking hallway. And here we are. I mean, really, just absolutely destroy me. I'm talking full-on watermelon in the thighs level carnage. And I want it to scare the shit out of me.
I mean, I hope I piss myself. I hope I piss myself when you call me
your little pee-pee piss boy. I want you to fuck me up. I mean, I want you to make me your bitch. Your little pee-pee piss myself bitch.
Hello, Mario.
I want it to get embarrassing.
I mean, like, weirdly embarrassing.
Unsanitary, too. We should be entirely different people by the end of the first 8 hours. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
I mean, I'm a real freak. I'm not normal, ma'am.
Please, you have to crush me.
You have to crush me, chat. Do you think that deathmatch wrestlers are like Steve Bloom here?
Hello, Mario.
Because, you know, the more you think about it, I feel like at least a couple of them have to be, right? And like, I'm not saying that as a slight. I'm just saying that just kind of as like, you know, it would make a lot of sense to know why guys like Nick Gage are the way they are, you know? Because I'm that way too. Anyways, hello everyone. My name is GirafaStev. I'm the president of the Longboy Club. I'm the long and large enjoyer of games, wrestling, watermelon in the thighs level carnage, and my stinky cats. Tonight, we are continuing our run of Dispatch. We started it last week. We're continuing it this week. We got through the first 3 episodes. I'm going to try to get through 3 more tonight, but in case you weren't here last time, the Z team is a little thinner now. We had to fire somebody, and ultimately I had to fire Sonar, because, listen man, he just did not have the upside that someone like Coop does. Plus, he's a fucking Chud, so we need to get rid of him. The Sonar situation, dude, it is crazy. It's insane, and I feel like it's only going to get more insane as the story progresses. I don't think that's the last that we have seen of Sonar, but we'll see. One thing's for sure, we are a little bit thinner now, and we're just going to need to figure out how to deal with that as time goes on. But before we start with that, we have a little bit of a situation to address here. And dude, if you think that the Sonar situation is crazy, there's something even crazier, and that is the MJF bald situation. Because even though I am almost certain it's not going to happen on Sunday, there is a small sliver of doubt in me, because AEW Double or Nothing is this weekend, and I figured that we would just kind of go over, you know, the matches and, you know, my own predictions before we get into tonight's showcase here. Hold on just a second. Let me put on some music here for all of you. Me channel, sure. Dude, it's insane.
It's almost time for a 3-minute Double or Nothing break, my dudes.
Dude, I don't think I can watch all of Double or Nothing in 3 minutes, but, you know, go off. So I figured that we would just kind of go over this. I'm surprised that there's really not much sort of like confirmed for, you know, the buy-in, because, dude, we've got fucking McFoley here now. I remember when he left the Fed like earlier this year, and I'm just like, damn. Even though I know that he was a bit buy-in, I want to buy out, lol. Dude, not with Mick Foley here. Like, the presence of Mick Foley means that I'm gonna be locked in for the fucking, like, you know, pre-show. You know? I I want to kind of see what he's kind of gonna bring to AEW, even though it's probably not gonna be much. Even though he's probably just kind of appearing for like a bit of a nostalgic pop. I'm just glad he's out of the bad place. I'm very glad that he's out of the bad place now, and I feel that he's gonna fit in very nicely into the AEW ecosystem. So yeah, imagine Mick Foley in a Anarchy in the Arena match or Stadium Stampede. That'd be insane. I would imagine Prime Mick Foley would be insane, but like now Mick Foley, absolutely not. Please do not let this man do any more harm to himself. Just let him be a happy little Santa Claus enjoyer, like I know he is. Have any of you seen like Mick Foley's like Santa Claus room, like at his home? He has a whole room in his home dedicated to just like various Santa Claus and Christmassy knickknacks. This man is a humongous fan of Christmas, is Mick Foley. And he also looks like it too. Like, if any man ever looked like that he would just absolutely love Christmas, Mick Foley is the most Christmassy enjoyer of all time. So you know what? I'm happy for him. Anyways, matches, right. Alright. So we have a few things in the Owen Hart tournament here. Very, very sad that Willow got injured and she had to get pulled out. But it seems like there's gonna be like a wild card thing for, like Alex Windsor's match, which will probably be on Dynamite. But what we do have here is Swerve versus Bandito, and I mean, Swerve's gotta win this, right? And to that end, I think that absolutely Will Ospreay is gonna win his match with Joe. I wouldn't be surprised if the finals of this tournament are Swerve and Will Ospreay. Because for one thing, I just think that would be, the best match to put on. And two, it would call back to, the past year that they've had with their like on and off friendship. Especially with this version of Swerve and this newer version of Will Ospreay. Hi, Ollie. Will Ollie Spray. I love both of my kitties very, very much. And hi, Hanoi, and your little tube. But yeah, I would imagine the finals are going to be Will and Swerve. And the vision is probably to have Will win the Owen and then go on to like All In. And finally win the belt. Will Oliver Spray. Well, it's a good thing that he's spayed and neutered, He won't be Will Oliver spraying on my carpet. That's a certainty. Women's tournament quarterfinal in the Owen. Mina Shirakawa versus Athena. It's probably going to be Athena, even though I want Mina Shirakawa to win. But ever since Tony got injured, it just kind of feels like, what the fuck do we do with this division? And moreover, what do we do with Mina Shirakawa besides just have her just like take pins every week? It's a damn shame, dude. But Athena's good. So yeah, she'll probably have a good run in the tournament. Stadium Stampede. It is Jericho is Chris Jericho, or just Jericho as he's now called, the Hurt Syndicate and the Elite versus the Demand, the Doghouse family, and the Dogs. All D factions. Chris Jerry go round. Dude, the heel side is all D. It's a massive D faction right here, and I feel like that the massive D faction is probably going to win, especially with like, Mark Davis winning a fucking title recently. I think that's probably going to be the play. It's what happens when you mainly rely on one woman to carry. I mean, they relied on 2 women, but now those women are not in the picture anymore. And to a lesser extent, Willow Nightingale. I would like her to win the, the women's world title. But I mean, I just don't think that Tony has the guts. Speaking of guts, Jon Moxley take on Kyle O'Reilly for the Continental title. Personally, I think Kyle's gonna win it. I feel like they've been telling like this kind of story and where it's like, Kyle has, Moxley's number. And it's very, very, very obvious that Moxley sees a lot in Kyle. He kind of sees a lot of himself in Kyle, I feel like. And Mox, I feel like, is kind of at the point where, like, he doesn't really need, a singles belt at the moment. Just imagine if we have Adam Cole versus Kyle at AEW. I'm pretty sure that happened, like, once, right? That feels like something that should have happened, like, at least one time. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I mean, has that happened in, like, AEW or NXT? Or no? Because if it didn't happen, here, that feels like something that would have happened in, like, NXT. Right? No, speaking of matches I'm really looking forward to.
Hello, Mario.
It has happened in NXT. Okay, got it. Well, speaking of matches I'm looking forward to, International Championship, sorry. Featuring Okada and Takeshita. This match is going to fuck, I feel like. And I feel like that Takeshita fucking needs to win it, basically I feel like a lot of belts are going to, turn on this night, or at least they're gonna, change on this night. And I have just been waiting for Takeshita to, get that W over Okada ever since, basically the Continental Classic. Dude, I was there for their match in the Continental Classic, like, the semifinal match in Chicago. That place erupted over Takeshita. It was in that moment that I realized, dude, he's turning face this year. He has to, I feel like. I feel like he has to. There's just so much fucking fan support behind this guy. So yeah, I feel like this is Takeshita's time. The I Quit match. FTR versus Cope and Cage. I will be honest, there is nothing that these 2 men here can do to make me dislike them. Those 2 men being, Cope and Cage. But FTR, I've just been finding a lot of what they've done in the past year or so to be pretty uninspired. Like, I just do not really care about them at this point in time. I feel
like the Elite are an A-team cause they are the founding fathers of AU. Hurt Syndicate is more B+, Jericho IDK, but their opponents are all D teams except for Ricochet. He makes up for it by being bald.
And the reason I said they were D teams is because they all start with D, brother. Not because, not because, like they were bad. I was just saying that they all start with D. But no. With, like, fucking FTR, I just feel like that they've, like, had a lot of uninspired work in the past year. And with Cope and Cage, they've just been kind of on and off over the past year. And I'm just, like, a lot of the juice in this feud that I was really looking forward to has been kind of siphoned out. So, I feel like Cope and Cage need to win these belts, like, at least once. So I feel like they're probably gonna win it here. But, like, one of the stipulations of this match is that if Cope and Cage lose, then they need to not team again. And I don't really understand. And, like, I understand, just kind of, why that sounds significant. But, like, both of these guys have gone, like, decades without teaming together. It's not, like, a ginormous thing, So yeah. That's like saying the homunculus is quitting Cheetos. I feel like the homunculus quitting Cheetos is, you know, a worse stipulation than Cope and Cage, you know, disbanding. Because Cope and Cage went decades without teaming together. The homunculus can't go like 10 minutes without a heavily processed cheese snack coursing through his gullet, you know? Like there's more weight to the homunculus not getting Cheetos for 10 minutes than there is about these two, you know, than there is with these two men not teaming again. So yeah. That being said, I do think, you know, Cope and Cage are gonna win these belts. I feel like they need to, you know, win them at least once before they retire. And then we have the women's fatal four-way for the women's title. It is Tekla, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander, and Jamie Hayter. All four women that I feel could really fill in the gaps that are being left behind by, you know, guys like Tony and Mercedes and Willow. My question is, right? Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor are in a tag team, right? They are the Brawling Birds, which, side note, I had to stop myself from calling them the Brawling Brutes. They are not Tyler Bate and freaking Pete Dunne, okay? They're also not the sidekicks of El Grande Americano. They are their own separate thing. Brawling Birds, is that right? Yes. And I have to like stop myself from calling them the Brawling Brutes. Why do there need to be two double B tag teams within like a close vicinity to each other time-wise? It messes up my brain, you know? Actually, no. Hold on. Were the Brawling Brutes the thing that Sheamus had with Pete and Rich Holland, or am I thinking of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne? Okay. That was the thing that Pete and Rich Holland had with Sheamus. Okay. Well, still, I need to like make sure that I'm not confusing them with a bunch of like, you know, white Irishmen. Well, white Irish adjacent, I guess. Anyways, Tekla's probably gonna retain. I would like for them to do more with, you know, with Tekla, because I feel that anytime that she's kind of given the spotlight, she really manages to shine. You know, she has like a unique type of charisma. She is fucking stellar in the ring. And like anytime she has a mic in her hand, she fucking makes like basically clips. Rather like fucking clip worthy like phrases and fucking lines and stuff. She is money, but it just feels like they've not really sort of known what to do with her in the absence of, you know, the sort of women that are on top. That being said, if Tekla doesn't retain, I feel like Sheeta's gotta win it. Or at least she should, because I don't want her only title reigns to be, you know, the year-long pandemic reign and a sacrificial reign to Saraya. You know? I feel like Sheeta deserves more than that. Especially with the current run that she's on and where she's like a passive-aggressive heel. Well, heel-ish. She's a tweener now, but leaning more towards heel, it seems like. So yeah, like, I've been really enjoying the run that she's on, and I think that she should be rewarded with the belt, if Tekla does not retain. And then the main event. It is Darby versus MJF, title versus hair. And I feel like MJF's gonna take it, but I would like for Darby to continue this reign that he's on. it's kind of designed almost to be a very short brain because they packed a lot into a 1 month span, you know? Like you got like 6 or 7 matches within 1 month between, you know, guys like Pac and, you know, Kevin Knight and Brody King and Speedball, so on and so forth. He has been having incredible matches of, you know, in the past month, and I feel like they're having him go so hard to friggin', you know, drive home the fact that he's basically destroying himself. And I feel that he's just not going to be able to keep up when it comes time to face MJF. Like, his body's just going to quit on him, and MJF, I don't want to say he's going to get the easy win, because I don't think that, you know, Darby and MJF would have a match like that. But at some point in the match, Darby is just not going to be able to go on, you know? And then MJF is going to be able to win the title back, and then it's probably going to be Will Ospreay versus MJF, once again at All In, but this time for the World Championship. So, yeah, I think my heart says Darby, my brain says MJF, you know? That being said, hold on. I know one thing for sure. I know what real men want in this life, right? And it's fucking brilliant what they want. Real men, me, want one thing in this life, and it's fucking awesome. And it's this. Specifically with the do-rag. Redeem the gimmick right here. Redeem the do-rag gimmick. It is way too good to only be used on Vince. Okay? And I'm not saying you should have him walk like he's about to fucking, like, fall over, because I remember the Vince do-rag stuff. When he walked out to the ring, he walked as if he was about to, like, literally just fall on the ground. Like, he was putting so much weight on his right step that he almost, like, tilted over at a full, like, 90-degree angle. It's crazy. I'm laughing at GirafaStev, not at you. Well, don't worry. I know I'm very funny when I'm bald. It's okay. I'm able to be more funny because I don't have my hair blocking my brain like a force field. You know? But I love my hair. It's very nice and it's very well conditioned. And also has gallons and gallons of gel applied to it before every stream. So you don't touch it, chat. You don't touch it. And if you do touch it, make sure that you touch MJF's hair too. and give him the do-rag. Touch. Alright, mods, time him out for a minute. I'm doing it. I'm timing you out for 1 minute. Wait, hold on. I can't do it. I can't do it for 1 minute. For 1 second, you purge. I purged you. Time out 1 second. There you go. 15 messages were deleted by a moderator. See that right there is what you get for fucking touching my hair. You get purged. Now go buy me some new conditioner. I need like 10 bottles of it every single stream. Okay, Bride, say something in the chat because I need to make sure that you weren't just banned. I didn't mean to ban you if I did that. That was simply meant to be a goof. Or maybe CM Punk in a Straight Society thing. You did? You're good. Okay, cool. But yes, those are my predictions. for Double or Nothing this year. Speaking of, y'all should watch it with the MJF situation is crazy. Speaking of, the Discord link situation is even crazier. Come over and join us in the Longboy Clubhouse Discord server if you are not there already. We have we have quite a bit of fun over there watching wrestling and other such things. As I said, this weekend we will be watching AEW Double or Nothing, but on top of that, we are continuing our watch along for the best of the Super Juniors 33. So far the tournament has been excellent. It has given me a lot of different styles of wrestling in a very short amount of time, and I think that there's a new episode going up tonight. We'll be watching that tomorrow afternoon. I will say that this tournament is a much larger commitment than I thought it was going to be. It is very good, but it's also very, very long. Like, this is a multi-week tournament that is spread out across several multi-hour, episodes of programming. So, it's a big commitment, you know? And while, I don't like leaving things unfinished, we will be watching the entirety of it this year. We probably won't be doing it again next year because it's just way too much to commit to. Watching AEW pay-per-views is easy because literally we just watch the show and then we're done, you know? But with something that's multi-week spanning as a tournament, like here, chat, don't pay attention to MJF. Well, actually, yes, pay attention to him for a second. I need to show you guys something. I'm not going to show you any footage because the last time I showed New Japan on this stream, they blocked us worldwide, which is fine. I probably should have known better. But anyways, do you want to see like how long this tournament is? Well, right here's the first day. This is 9 matches. Day 2, 9 matches. Day 3, 10 matches. Day 4, again, 10 matches. And then we have, days 5 and 6 coming up. This is a bit of a reprieve. This is 5 matches, and this is 6 matches. But then you also look at just the schedule, too, right? After this, we have one show on, Wednesday, May 27th. We have another one on the 29th, another one on the 30th, right? And that's not even the whole tournament. It continues into the next month. After that, we have shows on the 2nd of June, 3rd of June, the 5th of June, and the 7th of June. That's a lot of wrestling in just a, couple week span, And while it's good wrestling, right? Like, I'm not going to say no to, wrestling that I enjoy. It's still a lot, It's still a shitload. So while we will finish, the tournament this year, we're probably not going to do it again next year just because it's so fucking much, New Japan Pro Wrestling is more strict about their copyright compared to WWE, it feels like. From my experience, all of the major promotions are real assholes about their copyright, I've been blocked, worldwide, or, at least partially blocked on my VODs by, the Fed. I've been blocked by AEW, New Japan. All of them are very protective of their, stuff. So again, I should probably know better than to show, a whole New Japan match on stream, even if that match is only 3 minutes long, So, my mistake. I am very sorry, Tanahashi-san. I'm very sorry, Tanahashi-san. That will not happen again. That will not happen again, sir. But yeah. We'll be continuing that along with AEW Double or Nothing and every other AEW pay-per-view now into the future. So, I will say though, probably no WWE. I'm sorry. I'm just fundamentally against supporting them monetarily. So if you want that, I'm sure that there's a lot of other ones out there. Rather, I'm sure that there's like a lot of other places to, you know, get that show, but it will not be from me. Anyways, what will be from me is Dispatch tonight. My cat is sleeping on my floor right now by me. Unfortunately, my cat is not. My cat is very stinky, and he is choosing to stay away from me at the moment. Even though I fed him, I gave him water, I cleaned his poo box. Actually, I cleaned both his and his brother's poo boxes, because they both have... because they both have, like, their own litter box, because they're both very special, and they're very, very, very important. But the thanks I get is complete just... it's just, you know, getting completely, like, ignored. So, you know. That right there's my lot in life. What's your cat's name again, Zach? because I'm sorry, I forget it. Have they ever pooped on the floor before? My cat has. Surprisingly, no. Henry, ever since I got him, like, almost 5 years ago, he's been very good about that. And thankfully, like, we've had, like, you know, like, Oliver.
Hello, Mario.
We've had Oliver for, like, you know, about 1 year now, and he's been very good about that, too. Hey Dan, how you doing? Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meme. We're over here talking about our cats, and how very, very good they are. Although apparently, he don't have a name, we just call him Kitty, LOL. Dude, how can he not have a name? How can he not have a name? He's literally Kitty the Kitty. And I've seen your cat before, Zach. He's a big old chonker. Is it fine if I show your cat on stream real quick? Because I would like to. I would very much like to show your cat on stream. Alright, hold on, I'm trying to get a good... I'm trying to find a good picture of your kitty. Man, dude, the Long Boy Club has such cute animals. I've gotten to know so many of them. Like, again, Oliver, Henry, Romeo. I've gotten to know Dusty, Luna, and Salem. Look at Luna and Salem! Actually, no, I don't want to show them without Marion's permission. Sure, okay, over 10 years without a name. Well, here's my question. Does Kitty respond to Kitty? Or no? Dude, look at Kitty right here. It should be illegal to be this fat. Look at him. I want to just take this cat and just bury my face in it. Okay? Yes, he does. LOL. Aw. That's so cute. Well, I guess, you know, if he responds to Kitty, then why change it now? You know? But no, I want to take Kitty here. Zach, I want to take your cat and just bury my face in him. And smell his cat smell. Because cats, chat, I don't know if you've noticed, but cats are surprisingly nice smelling. Right? Like, you would think that because they lick themselves to get clean, that they would smell like spit. or just like some other like rancid thing, but they don't. They usually like, at least from my experience, cats overall smell pretty nice. But don't breathe in their breath, because that is very, very smelly. However, dogs are the exception, okay? Dogs smell like how you'd think they would. They smell musky and stinky. So, sent you 2 more. Oh my gosh, I need to see more of this kitty. I need to see more of this kitty. Hold on. Move over, MJF, bald version. Look at him! Aww. We love Kitty over here. He is so large. I wish to bury my face into his coat. Unfortunately, I will have to... Sorry. Unfortunately, my own cats will have to suffice. And chat, I'll tell you something for nothing, right? I don't like putting one of my cats over, you know, over another. But one of them is very, oh my god, one of them, dude, we saw all of bald MJF there. Okay, but one of them is obviously just very much cuter than the other, right? And softer. This right here is Henry and Oliver. Oliver! Dude, he came! He came over here! Hi, bud! He's lounging. The one on the left is, like, you know, like Oliver, and the one in the middle is Henry. I've had Henry longer, and he's more loyal, right? He would hide from you. He doesn't like most people. Aww. You know what? That's kind of like Henry. Henry used to be more social, but I don't really know what happened. He just kind of stopped being that, right? Like, he's very, very, like, you know, receptive and loyal to me. But if, like, anyone comes over, it takes him, like, 2 hours to really warm up to them. Meanwhile, Oliver, he's very trusting, right? Oliver is super trusting. Like, if you come up... like, if you come up to him, he'll, like, start, you know, like, rubbing his head against you, like, within, like, 10 seconds. Especially if you're a woman. He really, really likes women. And I have to say, don't tell Henry I said this, chat. But I think Oliver is cuter and softer than Henry is, right? Like, Henry is always going to be my favorite, but Ollie is just, he is, like, look at this, chat. Hold on. Let me go and get him real fast. You need to see him in all his glory right here. Like, this fucking Chudley stud muffin is the perfect ratio of everything, right? Perfect ratio of face, fat, and fluff, right? He literally has, as the vet calls it, the primordial pouch. And boy, what a pouch he's got. It literally, like, sways to and fro, just
it's
above
almost
the
time
ground.
for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dude.
Shut up, I'm talking about my cats. And he is just, like, I don't... You have to catch him in the mood, right? But he is so soft, and he's so fun to just bury my face in, right? I don't know why I enjoy burying my face in cats. I'm pretty sure it's just like an autistic stim thing. But Listen, they're soft and they're cuddly and they're huggable. So, yeah. Yeah, my cat is afraid of most people. He would rather hide under the bed all day before dealing with them. Unfortunately, the cats don't really like Romeo, like our dog, that much. Ollie tolerates him. Henry does not, right? Like, if Romeo even thinks about getting up in Henry's space, even just as he's walking by, Henry will bat at him, right? And anytime I see it, I'm just like, dude, what did Romeo do to you? Right? Like, literally, all he's doing is just walking by, and you're being a total dick about it, you know? Like, he's not trying to lick you. He's not trying to sniff your butt. Thankfully, we worked that out of him, but he's not trying to sniff your butt. Just let him freaking exist, brother. It's really not that hard. Like, like, can a man just walk by you without you making it a ginormous fucking thing? That would be very nice of you, Henry. Like, I love you, but you can be kind of a jerk sometimes, is what I'm saying. Yeah, well, speaking of jerks, I need to appease Jeff Bezos real fast, chat. I'm sorry. We gotta run the ad. Hold on. And then we'll get into dispatch. Which is just about ready. Dude, run the ad. I literally pressed the run ad button. Bezos. Fucking just go, man. Please.
It's break time.
Thank
Where
you.
are the Cheetos, my dudes?
Get it over with.
No, you just had your nails.
Oh, no!
When without warning, your nails are ruined. Beautiful nails make you look good and feel good. But there's no way to protect that smooth glass-like finish if it hasn't had time to dry. Until now. Nails in Motion now introduces Tip Tops. Designed by women for women to guard your nails from smearing and smudging. Simply place a Tip Tops nail protector under each finger before you treat your nails. Snap it closed and then turn it after your nails are done. Tip Tops protects your nails until they have dried and hardened and takes the worry out of using your hands before your polish dries. So go ahead, get your money from your purse, put on your coat, answer your phone, fasten that seatbelt. There's nothing you can't do while Tip Top shields and protects your beautiful manicure.
It's very easy for me to check my email, my text messages, while using the Tip Top protectors.
It's just
Kitty is so cute,
never
dude.
thought that something like this would exist.
With the Tip Tops on, you just turn them around, pay, and you're ready to go.
Also, pick up your
And
floor,
you'll never
Zach.
be late to pick up my daughter for soccer practice.
You'll get 8 finger-sized Tip Tops, plus 2 specifically designed to protect
Okay,
your thumbnails,
Dad.
all for a
That's probably what
special
you're thinking right now.
price of just $19.99. But wait, if you call right now, you'll also
Don't
receive
tell me
a
what
pair
to
of
do,
stylish and
Dad.
comfortable Pretty Petty sandals. Just pay separate shipping and handling. Pretty Petty sandals have soft separators to keep your toes apart while your polish is drying. That's a $30 value, but it's yours free just for ordering today. And as an added bonus, we'll even send you the handy Nails in Motion carry-on.
I can tell that floor hasn't been vacuumed in like years.
$10 value, absolutely free.
Don't
You
tell
get
me
8
what
Tip
to
Tops
do,
for your fingers,
Dad.
plus 2 for your thumbs, plus the Pretty Petty sandals and the handy carry-all. That's a $60 value, but it's yours for just $19.99. This amazing offer is not available in stores, so call now.
Hello, Mario.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Hey, welcome back to Raw. Also, do you guys like anime and Ford? Chat. Zach, don't start. I don't know if I could take the constellation of the new Ford Fusion 2 nights in a row. Okay? I don't know if I can take that shit, brother. Alright. Also, hi, Infinite. How you doing tonight? Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. It is time to continue with dispatch. Restructure. Employees should be aware that if they enter into a personal relationship with a subordinate employee, a conflict of interest may exist, which requires full disclosure to the company. Handbook, page 8. Okay. Well, now that we fired Moist Critical in a crazy situation, I'm once again going to have you on in the background while I play the new Lego Batman game. Alright, Infinite. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for lurking. Let's do it. Man, dude, we're already starting... Dude, we're starting hot and heavy already. Holy shit. Like, seriously? We're starting hot and heavy already. Say, what the fuck? Dude, I was about to say, I thought that we were given a choice in the matter. Okay, never mind. We're okay. Okay, we still got it. Maybe. Dude, I was caught off guard. Immediately we're dude, the episode just started. Also, when I have a moment, I'm gonna go ahead and fix the cropping here.
Oh, that was a great prank. Oh my god. Oh, we pulled the best pranks. You have no idea what a dummy.
She was tight with Sonar. Never understood why. But then again, I don't know a whole lot about demonic shit. Bats, and right? Like witchy stuff. If I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, best to keep an eye on her. The problem with only cutting one of them is now you gotta deal with their pissy friends poisoning the rest of the team.
I don't know. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe we should have given more of a shot.
Nah, they're all soft. That's why I would have cut them all. Starting with that asshole. Why's she staring at you? Don't you got some work to do?
Don't you got some dementia to onset?
Oh, damn.
That one stung a little. Hey, Blazer's looking at backfilling your open spot with Phenomenon or Waterboy. You should think about who you'd want.
One of them is the poster boy of SDN and the other guy pukes water. What am I missing?
What? All right, well, hold on. I'm pausing the game because I don't want anyone to miss shit. Now for sports games. WWF No Mercy is the latest title from Aki Corporation, all of which are inferior to Acclaim's WWF Warzone
Hello, Mario.
and Attitude titles. While the roster of this game is certainly impressive, the fact is that the wrestling is slow. What he was missing was Gitsy. Next to impossible. For fucking short, brother. Trying to do the people's elbow. Ah, come on. Crap, lost my streak. Also, by the way, thank you for the 26 watch streak, man. But they just had to make it super complicated for The Rock. That's absurd. Oh, hey, I got a Harry Potter ad for the sound quality in this game is also audiobooks. Terrible. Ew. With many of the iconic themes being crushed down to fit on the Nintendo 64. And the entrances have been reduced to 10 seconds of posing on the ramp. A real downgrade from what even WCW Revenge offered. One thing Aki does better than Acclaim, however, is customization. You can change almost everything about every. Wait, that's not George's voice. What are you talking about? We brought back the skinny white turd from our WWF Attitude and gave him a great entrance. Here's what our game guy, Tom Allen, cooked up for us. Wow, wasn't that a great, awesome, fucking, like, Gitsy episode that he totally made and, you know, I didn't make at all? But no, dude, I don't want to friggin', like, I don't want to put Phenomena Man on the team if I don't have to, dude. Like, that's gonna just be big ol' friggin'... I feel like that's gonna be really, really awkward. Oh shoot, I'm at spoiler territory. You sure are, brother. I'm playing the whole game. What? Oh, because he broke up. Oh, because him and the... You know, the blonde blazer broke up.
Sorry. Sorry.
Looks like there's no wrong answer.
Well, sometimes it's more about the person than the powers. And good thing, because it's the only reason anyone gave your sorry ass a job.
Wow, dude.
All right. It wasn't that funny.
What the? What? Dude! We're hot and heavy in this already. Wow.
Protopulse test 7, pilot ready. We good out there?
You can talk, I can hear you.
Oh, we good. All you, Mecha Man.
What if I'm the new 8th hero?
System power.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Simple locomotion.
Dude, I'll dispatch and go out there and help people.
Levels are stable. We onto something, bro. This is it. This is gonna be it.
Split kick. Kick it. Yeah, buddy. Woo!
I've never not done this in a fight, Roy.
Oh boy, you're overworking it.
Oh!
Protopulse test 7. Failure.
No worries. We'll get there.
Wow.
Royd, what is all this stuff?
Whole network expect me to process all the confiscated stuff. Cause we the bottom branch for SDN, we catch all kinds of shit work, bro.
Did you just give me an up-down?
We take one bad guy stuff and use them for catch the other bad guy. Only good thing, a lot of upgrade possibilities.
You ever jerk off in this thing?
You low.
What?
I mean, obviously you have.
All the time.
You'd be asking how often.
Hey, come on. I gotta work.
Why do you want to know?
Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. What's it to you?
Just want to know why the buttons are sticky.
Ah, what the fuck?
She's
Whoa.
Royd in her very specific, off-putting way that she jokes.
You two got one weird energy going on, huh?
Incredibly.
This HR violation some other place? I got work, yeah?
Robert was just leaving.
I can do this all day.
That's gonna be tough, because Blazer sent me to get you like half an hour ago, so...
There is so much tension in this room, brother. Dude, in this whole building, honestly. Oh, dude!
Shit. Blazer. You know what? I can come back.
Oh, no, don't worry. I got this thing tonight, and they were supposed to send the dress yesterday. This isn't why you're here, but can you zip me up? It's not mine, by the way. They made
Oh boy, I smell interaction coming. Dude, they do have the bra mini game.
What's that?
What's happening today? The thing you're going to.
SDN sponsoring a dinner gala thing. Radiant Valor, a night of triumph.
Why does that sound like a propaganda rally? There.
Aw, man, come on.
It does kind of sound like some sort of fascist-themed prom. What do you think? We're making alterations all morning.
It's
Might
too
be
small.
A little tight.
Are you trying to say I'm fat?
Far from it. I'm actually trying to subtly tell you that, you know.
All right, for real now. How do I look? The breakup story is out, so I might be getting more attention than I'm comfortable with.
I think you look incredible.
Thanks.
Aw.
I was supposed to be going with him, but I don't think he's going to be making it. The downtown...
Man.
Indefinite suspension.
Is that your car?
I don't have a car.
That's gonna be a weird insurance claim.
I'd like for you to talk to him.
Me?
What?
Why me?
You're the pep talk guy. You've been through a transition recently yourself. I think he could use some perspective.
Like perspective to join the Z team? Chase mentioned it.
Yeah, the only candidates that make sense are him or Waterboy. And at the moment, it's close. Mostly, I'd like you to get him out of the parking lot. Oh, and tell him to stop with the edible arrangements. He keeps sending them, but with all melon.
That's disgusting. I'll see what I can do.
We getting high over here in the Z team? Oh, he is. Dude, he's seeing... Dude, that right there is the most lore-accurate interpretation of being stoned that I've ever seen. Just finding a pattern, any pattern, right? And just looking into it. Not even like not like in a way where the pattern is like changing. I mean, just finding a pattern with not much going on and staring at it and thinking about it, right? Like that's literally like what fucking, you know, Smoking a Doobie is all about. He really is a different character now. Dude, it's like fucking Idea Maker said. He is the whole damn show right here.
Man. How you doing, bud?
I have been better, Robert Robertson. The blonde Blazer and I have ended our relationship.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm sorry for your, your loss.
It's very abrupt. One moment we were savoring uni straight from the urchin. Next moment, I'm contemplating flying into the sun, absorbing all its energy and casting this planet into infinite darkness so that I never have to see her or anyone else ever again.
I feel you, brother.
Maybe then I would be free of the torment in my soul. And maybe then I could quiet my mind to these destructive.
I've had those days, brother.
I've been there. Last time I went through a breakup, I drank mezcal till I blacked out. When I came to, I was in a dark void surrounded by the smell of rot, and I was convinced I'd died and turned into a zombie. Turns out I passed out at a urinal and somebody threw me in a dumpster.
Thank you for sharing that. You are sad enough to understand.
That's not the point, brother.
Do you think there is someone else? Perhaps another lover could be the cause of all this. Maybe she met a person. An actual person. I am not a person, I just resemble
That's
one.
not your business, brother.
I don't know, but that doesn't really concern you anymore. You can't just force your way back into her life. Blazer makes her own decisions, because that's what people do. She's her own person, and she decided she doesn't want to be with you.
Perhaps the fact that I am not a person is contributing to my confusion.
Yeah, listen, you know what, while we're at it, no more edible arrangements. They're just stinking up the break room.
Oh my god, yes, it is.
Learn about people. Thank you. You've given me a great deal.
Dude literally just found a pattern and he stared at it.
Actually, no, not any time. Just sometimes, occasionally, barely any.
It seems the velocity with which I sat up has shot shards of glass into your chest.
Well,
oh,
shit.
Aw, dude. Okay, I don't know if he's a villain or not. I don't think that is, like, villain
Where's the shootout?
acting.
Parking lot. Didn't think taking a desk job would have me bleeding this often. What are you doing here?
I had a dream last night that we were fucking. Usually I don't remember my dreams, but this one was pretty vivid.
How was I?
I didn't finish.
Not what I asked. We're talking about me. So
Dude.
this is why you've been acting so weird all day.
So what I'm hearing is that he takes his time.
Imagine being with someone, you know? See how it feels, how it looks. You know, like trying on a dress.
You were there.
Could have been.
Robert is a mask femme icon, brother. I've said it once, I'll say it again. No man knows true freedom until they've worn a dress.
I could be anywhere.
To be here.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, water boy.
Sound.
Bathrooms are for shitting after your first coffee and picking shrapnel out of your chest. Not for whatever this is.
Ugh, you ruined this for me!
It's, I know. My apologies.
I love how Invisigal isn't even subtle, right? Like, she is just going all in immediately. I like a woman that just gets right to the point. Oh, beef! Beef! Dude, he is so fat. Speaking of chunky pets. Alright. Let's do it, chat. Welcome, Robert.
Can't believe Sonar's gone. This is a load of shite.
He may have been a pervert, but he was our pervert.
Well, I'm glad you're still with us.
I am glad as well. Strange.
Alright. Moving away.
Out of the dorm. Yeah? You guys do that kind of stuff, right?
Load the heavy furniture into the moving truck. Carry the belongings down 2 flights of stairs. I feel like...
I'm ready.
I feel like Goemon would be good with that.
Hearing a lot about some guy named Chad. I think he's trying to summon a demon.
Is he a Chad?
Cult of Chad?
Chud? Yeah.
Chad? Oh, hold on. We have a couple things. Wait. Join a cult.
Do you know where this church is located? You can take a look and...
Oh, not interested. Off to cutting Sona? No, you're on your own.
What? Hey! No. Get back here.
We send someone in. Have them pretend to be interested in joining the cult.
I'll take this one.
Okay. Read through their lies and learn their motives. So I feel like we need someone that's really good at talking, right? My dog is acting like a nipping nutbag right now. What do you mean? What's he doing? Dude, I can't believe Mailman doesn't want to go on this friggin', doesn't want to go on this, call here. Alright, so I think that we need someone that's either... that's like two things. Smart and good at talking. So Prism. You go.
Have you finished the book I lent you?
Girl, I'm a slow reader, alright? Besides, you promised fairy sex, and so far...
It has to build.
Dude, there's so much sex in this episode. There's so much, like... Just like there's so much entendre and like tension and foreplay. I don't understand.
Yeah, later.
Resuscitate any survivors if able. If not, rush them to the hospital. So let's go ahead. Okay, so we need to resuscitate. Dude, I don't know what that would do. Front of me just drove right off the side into the water. I feel like... Why?
Fine.
Well, this is why. Hold on. Let's see if you got that done, brother. No!
I like your redo on that one.
Okay, well...
Is this SDN? I was driving along the coast and this guy in front of me just drove right off the side into the water.
Punch up. You go.
Aren't you persistent?
Yes, go. Right, brawl at a football game. Right, return piece of football game using your fists. Well, I have...
I'm there.
Well, I have the one for you.
Can I borrow your mask? I got a date tonight at this masquerade thingy.
You may not.
See? That's why people think you're a bitch.
You're braver than I thought. Fine. Return it tomorrow morning, or I will cut out your tongue.
They want us to... What? Oh. They want us to drink blue liquid from a chalice as a loyalty test. Pretend to take a sip, explain that you're allergic, or power through it. Well, really, this right here feels like dealer's choice. I feel like you can power through it. Let's do it. No!
Ugh, I thought we had it.
Dude, this is going awfully.
Hey, this is Jason from Nostalgia Alley. Someone just dropped off a box of games with a note saying there's a bomb inside one of them. Can you send someone?
Ah, man. No, I need you back out there, brother. Hold on.
Okay, back to it.
Go, please. Search through and disarm the bomb.
Swift as the night, sharp as my knife.
Dusty, you are 8 months old. You should not be doing this anymore. What if he actually meant to say there's a Bomberman in the pile? That would have been awesome, dude. Please. Okay, good.
Shit.
Game back on. Oh, no! Car drives off cliff. Someone picked up a box and needs to be dropped off.
Close your eyes. You're not gonna like what you see anyway.
Hold on.
Good.
Good.
Identify and disarm. And we need to send somebody, dude.
I love a symmetrical stage picture.
Whatever.
Identify and disarm. Go again.
We need you to send somebody else. This is too much.
We're out of somebody's. You're gonna have to make do.
You sound like my first manager. I fired his ass.
This is
Well,
fucking bullshit. We can't be everywhere at once.
Shit, y'all, I can barely even be in one place.
It's clear that cutting sonar has left us vulnerable.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Coop has a point.
Noted. Can you just hang in there a little longer? I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, well, Karma's a fucking bitch, huh, Robert?
I was left with no choice, mailman. I was left with no choice. Okay, which game is hiding the bomb? The wolves inside us. Dude, man bomber? Hold on. Jaspar's 2.5D Adventure 2. The Return. You can tell this game wants you to pay attention with so many things that can happen. I know. Someone just dropped off a box of games with a note saying there's a bomb inside them. Mad Bomber has to be the one, brother. Not this one. The Wolves Inside Us. The Wolves Inside Us was a great game. It really makes you feel like... It really makes you feel like... Oh, right, we found the bomb. It gives you the swagger of a black teenager. I've heard. Destroy the bomb. I feel like deactivate the bomb is the best choice, honestly. Sure.
I'm confused. I thought that would be more difficult.
Dude, that was hard as fuck. What are you talking about? Anyways, I feel like we need to make up for, you know, the lack of, you know, intellect with Sonar's absence by making Coop very smart. I still think the bomb in that box of games was actually Bomberman, unless the copy was Bomberman Act Zero. I see no cause for concern. Listen, man. Oh, shit.
Hey, Ray here. We got another teardown for you. Mind coming down and doing some demo?
Right, destroy the remains of the dilapidated house. Alright, I need to send... What? What do you mean, no?
Guess what?
Get the fuck out there! Get out there, dude!
Yo, go on. You fuck with potpourri?
I fuck with potpourri so hard, bro.
Failed to assist heroes in the field. Damn, okay. I can't do it, man. I had to just let some things go.
One of my teachers called out. There has to be someone at SDN who can teach a jujitsu class.
You know what, Malevolent? Maybe I should fire you next if you're just gonna be like this. How does that sound? Teach defense, guards, and grapples. Lead sparring drills, ground fighting. Assist with reflex development.
Call me a bogo bitch.
Lead sparring drills, assist with reflex development.
Graceful, but deadly.
I feel like Coop and Punch Up are probably the best tandem for this.
I think I'm done here.
You're clocking out early?
Mate, cut me if you want, but I'm out.
Okay, I'll cut you then next.
He's a mind reader. She has X-ray vision. Together they are the ultimate invasion of privacy.
Dude, I'm actually fucking upset at Mailman right now. I literally could send her out for anything because she was being so difficult about it. Listen, I know that you like Sonar, but I was put in a very unenviable position. Okay? I had no say in the matter. I told you there would be cuts. All right, protect the couple from each other. Send someone good with people to defuse the situation. Damn.
Dozens of youths just started rushing us and looting the shops.
Catch as many looters as possible. That sounds really good for you, Invisigal. Go. Cool free shit. Go. Go do it. Go locate. Go theater to theater to locate the bomb. Identify. Dude, there's so many bombs. There's so many man bombers out there. Go.
Oh, come on. I was about to click that.
Okay, well, how about this one? Nice.
Shall we dance?
Oh, lead the way.
Oh, hey, Punch Up and Coop have synergy. Good. Next. Demolition, destroy and toss. They did it. They did it. Stop. Stop. Come on.
Win some, you lose some. Sometimes you lose some more than you win some.
Dude.
Phenomemon's still on the 405, just past him. He's gone from shaking his fist at cars to sadly directing traffic.
Dude, everyone is getting injured.
Pain to use?
I had no idea Blazer was such a heartbreaker.
Is that surprising?
I'm just impressed.
Maybe you shouldn't be so quick to judge people.
Gross. You sound just like her.
You calling me a heartbreaker?
In your dreams.
How about in your dreams, Invisigal? Seeing as I live rent-free in them. Alright, if anyone needs some more hands-on training, I'll be in the gym until the end of shift. Okay, well then, I feel like... Okay, hold on. Go! Oh no, that would have been a great one to send Gollum and Invisigal out to. Everyone is getting injured right now, dude. The only one that's not injured is Punch Up.
We got a gift of some Mega Man replicas, but with all the bomb threats going on, we just want to be sure.
Right, evaluate all citizens from the store and inspect the suspicious Mecha Men. So we're probably gonna need some major,
the original, but this will have to do.
So we'll probably need some major intellect here. So we're gonna send these two again. Dude, we are absolutely just not. We're absolutely just not delivering today, I feel like. All right, hero training.
Some more hands-on training. I'll be in the gym until the end of the shift.
Well, hold on. Well, let's see if Invisigal can be ready in time. Because the unfortunate thing with her is that she doesn't have a lot of utility. So I'm going to send her over there. What the?
I do my shit my way. Cool?
Alright, go and do it. Which Mecha Man contains the bomb? Mecha Man Prime, Mecha Man Astral, or Mecha Man Blue? I think Mecha Man Prime's got it, brother. It was the mini Mecha Man Prime. It's flying around the shop and blasting. Stop it before it detonates. So anyway, I started blasting. We gotta hit this shit, dude. So anyways, we started blasting. Yes!
Too bad there's no Grammy for this.
Woo! Good job, you two. Good job. Alright, hero training. Alright, when sent alone, Invisigal reduces travel time and call completion. With her connections, Invisigal can reveal the number of slots and crime type on hover for certain calls before they happen. Invisigal is on the team. XP rewards are doubled. Can reveal the number of slots and crime type on hover for certain calls before they happen. Okay, well that would be kind of nice to have. Either that, or make it so that if she is, if I have to send her in a team, then that makes her, like easier to sort of contribute. So I'm thinking that actually that's probably more useful. I feel like that would be more beneficial for everybody. Cool. Good job, everyone.
Thank fuck.
Ugh, great. I'ma drink my spicy water.
Go and heal up, guys. We missed so much, dude. That was not a good shift at all. We gotta do better next time. Alright, Phenomena, man. Get off your ass and get on this team.
Still working on that? Aren't these the best? I love the green ones, the green dew.
All yours. Take the whole thing if you want.
Awesome. My lucky day. I know what's for lunch or dinner. Probably. Now. Sorry.
This guy is so awkward.
Interrupting your meeting with Invisa.
Oh, god damn it. You threw my noodles away? My initials were literally on the box and everything. Fuck!
I don't read things. Sometimes it's different, like a logo, but it's probably still good.
I don't want the fucking trash noodles, wet fart boy.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Whatever, it was an accident. Just aim your dick up and water piss it off. That's not... You...
I'm gonna go rinse off.
How would you like to have to walk around work the rest of the day with shit all over you?
I don't know, I don't think about that, because it won't happen. Because I'm not a fucking idiot food thrower awayer.
It's an accident. You don't have to be a bully about it. You want this in your report?
What, you're gonna snitch on me? Motherfucker, you're just being a soft bitch about it. Bully? How am I being a bully?
Protein shake. There you go. Oh. I mean,
it's in my hair.
It's in your hair, brother.
I'm going to fucking kill you.
Well, I got bad news for you.
Hey, Robert, could you... Oh. You have stuff on your face.
I don't want to be a snitch, but Flambe accidentally made a mess.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you should probably go get cleaned up, then, accident or not, wipe up this mess you made.
Yes.
Well...
Okay, whatever that was. Listen, Robert. Jesus. Anyway, you talk to Chase. Who's it gonna be? Phenomenon or Waterboy?
And these two are my only options.
For now, yeah. Obviously, we can revisit it, but... already a trainee, sorta, and you already know Phenomenon got cut by DTLA. Thanks for getting him out of the parking lot, by the way. It might also help to get...
Waterboy I know nothing about, He's a total wild card. But Phenomenon is also not really there right now. He is a shell of his former self at this point. The Phenomenon I will be putting on the team is not the same Phenomenon that we had in the tutorial mission, right? It'll make you a cruel bat. No, this isn't a question of who we cut. This is a question of who we bring in to replace Sonar. Because we fired him, remember? And now not only is he gone, but Malevola just completely just left us for the day. Mailman is gone, right? And Sonic is nowhere to be seen. So these are our two choices right now. We have Waterboy, who's a complete klutz, but he seems fine, right? And Phenomenon, who is completely down in the dumps and won't be able to contribute like he normally would be able to, right? But he's also basically positioned as the top hero. He's essentially All Might right now. And would All Might at like 75% be better than Waterboy at 100%? Right? I think Waterboy would probably be more fun to sort of figure out a use for. You pick between awkward and depression. I feel like awkward would at least get more done, because that was one of the big things that we struggled with in the last shift. Either me just not knowing who to send, and just us missing calls, right? Who would win in a fight, Metro Man or Phenomena Man? Turbo Man.
You know, an actual good person on your team, which I'm positive both of them are. They just have other issues. And Phenom's an alien, not a person.
Waterboy.
Let's go with Waterboy. I think he deserves a shot, and he seems shockingly more stable than Phenomena Man at the moment.
I hear ya.
That's probably the safe bet, honestly.
Before he starts, but yeah, let's go with it. I'll let him know.
It's turbo time.
He really looks
It's turbo time, brother. We got the real Turbo Man at home, and his name's Waterboy.
Yeah, but he said he won't tell anyone.
I guess that's good.
I'll let him know. You'll see him in the roster for your next dispatch.
Like, these are, like, dude, you can't tell me that's my only choice. I'll take the fucking guy in the cat head before either of these two men. At least I know that that guy probably has all his shit together right now.
Hey!
And costume and everything.
It's my clothes. They're waterproof-ish.
Yeah, that's gonna clog.
No. I do this. See?
Ah.
It's so
Father,
gonna
is there
clog,
about
brother.
to be wieners shown?
Talk to me. Thanks for tricking me.
But we did have boobs and butt being shown, kind of.
The word is jazzed, and we're jazzed to have you too, bud. I'm even reasonably optimistic that you deserve it. See you next shift.
All right, here we go, chat. It's time for the starting this moment. Hold on.
And starting this moment from now, from this moment on, this will be the moment, starting now, of the genesis of
Waterboy. I mean, we might get boobs butt being shown later, but we haven't had, like, Chernobyl cock yet. Oh god, where is he?
Hey, team. We appreciate you doing your best last shift under the circumstances.
Oh no, there's still...
More specifically, Waterboy is here to help.
This is going to be so fucked, dude. Why did I choose him?
What's up?
Excuse me?
Ain't no way.
He may be new to this, but Robert and I believe he will make a great addition to the team.
This is bullshit.
Good morning, evening, hello. I don't, wait, maybe, is it?
Oh boy. The thing about Phenomena Man is that he has god stats, but he has his issues, which makes him not be on calls. Meanwhile, Waterboy will just be here the whole time. I can have him fill in gaps, right? Which is really just what I need right now. I need someone to fill in the gaps. I could send him on basically any mission and he will contribute in a small way, right? In fact, I have an idea.
We have
Let's try it.
to believe that Mr. Vanderstank's life will be in danger at a meeting today.
Mobilize quickly to stop the assassination. Protect William Vanderstank.
It's almost time for
any
a
others in
3-minute
harm's way.
Cheetos break, my dudes.
All right, hold on. Well, we need to run the ad, chat. I'm sorry. We'll run the ad and then we'll actually get going on, you know, the second shift.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
Oh boy, it's Toontown. I'll be back in a minute.
game where you can create your own tune and do almost anything. With your parents' permission, get 3 days of free play at Toontown.com. Toontown, rated E for everyone.
When you dive into a bowl of SpaghettiOs pasta, your mouth will really rock. Once you get your lips around us, you know you'll be in trouble. We're tempting little O's, oh, you wanna have a double. Spaghetti, we're what your mouth dream about. Spaghetti, oh, without us you won't pout. First you wanna slurp some, that sauce is like no other. And those juicy meatballs, be sure to thank your mother. Spaghetti, we're what your mouth dream about. Spaghetti, take it, meatball.
Whoa.
SpaghettiOs, oh yeah.
Poke chips ahoy! Oi, oi, oi! Jam-packed with chocolate we really need. All the mommies love us cause we're nice and sweet. Poke chips ahoy! Oi, oi! Poke chips ahoy! Oi, oi, oi! Poke chips ahoy! Oi, oi, oi!
No, not punky, chunky. Chunky Chips Ahoy! Big, delicious chunks of chocolate. They're all loony.
Chunky Chips Ahoy! Jam-packed with big chunks of chocolate. They're crazy with chips.
Oi!
Introducing the Cream Team! You creamy-tasting marshmallow bits for a richer, creamier, chocolatey taste! New Extreme Cream Oreo O's, part of this good breakfast. Give it up for the Cream Team!
Mom, can I have this, please?
You can collect all 10 Major League Baseball bobblehead dolls. One free in each marked box of these Post cereals.
This is Free Rounds!
I may not have a brain, chat, but I have an idea.
Battle fierce creatures in a quest for gold! Race cars to the finish line, or destroy cars in demolition derbies! Race cats and dogs with personality all their own! Trading card games your thing? Collect cards for the ultimate duel! Meet up with your friends, or make new ones! You can play free at freerounds.com! Rated everyone 10 and up. Kids, get your parents' permission before going online. You roll!
Okay, this stuff is really amazing. I mean, I put it in my mouth and I taste watermelon, but it's not just that. I taste strawberry too, but it's kind of like a watermelon-y strawberry put together. Hey, oh, hang on.
Dude, Waterboy has powers too that you can figure out and unlock.
The bubbles are really awesome. I mean, that's why they call it Max, I guess. Obviously, that sort of makes sense once you think about it. Oh, I'm Dan, and that's Chuck.
Hubba Max! A whole new kind of bubble! Hey!
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Welcome back to Raw Chat, and like I said, I may not have a brain, but I have an idea. For something like this, we are sending Waterboy out, just for him to get experience, and Invisigal is gonna go with them, okay?
Act like you don't know me.
Well, I don't.
Perfect. You're a natural.
Hold on.
You guys watch.
This one-on-one's... Oh.
Seriously, dude?
What?!
Sorry. I'm...
No!
It's my fault. Mistake. And... nervous. Malevola. Please to,
No!
Glad to be here.
Robert, you cut Sonar and you replaced him with the fucking wet guy?
That's right.
You know that Sonar could turn into a bat.
I'm well aware.
How is wet guy better than a bat? Well, at least he can lecture people to death.
Dude, it's already falling apart. It's already falling apart! No! I can't bring her back! I can't bring her back!
Hey, so we're a little down on new subscribers this month. Think you can spare a hero to do some recruiting?
How the fuck are we supposed to do this? You could try charming them with your winning personality.
You know what, yeah. You know what, yeah. Punch Up, you're charming. You go and do it.
I'm surprised anyone subscribes to this shite.
Dude.
Great opportunity to show the sweeter side of your ex-criminal crew at SDN. Yeah, I can't believe Sweet Talker went with Emily last season. Him and Carla seem perfect for each other.
Alright, well, we need someone that can also sweet talk here. And you know, Prism would be great for that, but it's not happening. Dude, this is bullshit. Come on. Yes! Phew!
creaming over this, or what?
Dude. Dude, Invisigal's a freak, for real. Charisma, I think, would be good for her, too. Mobility would also be good, because if Invisigal is going to be down, then we need someone that's going to be able to pick up the slack, too. Dude, Prism has, like... She has, like, such crazy stats right now, I feel like. Waterboy, what are you gonna do, man?
Hello, Mario.
Hello there. Hello there, Patch. How you doing? Welcome on into tonight's Longboy Club meeting. Alright, so, what are we lacking in right now, is the question. Well, in terms of combat, we're good. That's fine. Vigor, that's also okay. Charisma, let's see here. So let's compare and contrast stats here. We have Invisigal with the speed. We have Flambe with the power. Punch Up has power. So does Coop. I need to figure out what we're lacking in, really. What we're really lacking in is speed and mobility. So I think that Water Boy would be good for that. So I think he's going to have a speed build. Actually, hold on. Before I go in that direction, let's check Intellect. Oh boy, Intellect is really lacking. Okay. Intellect. Go for it, Water Boy. Invisigal is downed. She cannot be sent for anything else today. Today was a good day. Yeah, I was thinking mobility too.
I think that went pretty well.
Good job, brother. You hero charm. Physicality is valued in addition to looks. Well, do I have the guy for you? Hold on just a second. Punch Up. I need you out there again.
Oi, my eyes are down here.
I need you out there once more, brother. Go.
I feel like working at a gas station would be pretty chill.
I fuck with a pet store.
Yeah, right. You hate pets.
I hate pets with bad attitude.
Okay, so Water Boy cannot upgrade right now.
That is true. Every snake is chill.
I don't mind being a janitor, but I always want.
Let's see.
Hero.
Oh, he's got jokes.
Don't quit your day job, kid.
This is my job. Day job.
Listen, you tried and you suck. It happens. The important thing is you suck. And you know this now.
Dude, I have no choice. I need to keep him around. Hero training. I feel like right now, either Coop or Flambe needs that training, right? You know what, Flambe? Go and learn, brother. Wait, mascot matchup. Hold on. Alright, what does he have? After a success, Flambe gains +1 combat and +1 mobility. This affects stacks. Succeeding twice will set Flambe's combat mobility to max and removes rest time. After a fail, Flambe's stats drop to 1. Oh, that's good. After a success, Flambe also reduces call completion and travel time. If after 2 successes, Flambe fails a third, he is down. Oh boy. So he burns out then. I'm going to make him Supernova. I'm so proud of me. Thank you very much for the watch streak, Patch. Succeeding twice will set Flambe to that.
We tracked down the assassin's temporary base of operations.
Hold on.
To put on a show, we need Terrence the Turtle to beat someone up for team morale.
Fake fight the mascot during halftime. Make it look convincing, but pull your punches. Look convincing. To fake fight. Make it look convincing, but pull your punches. I think you two are good for it.
Ma'am?
Okay, you have to stop calling me that.
Oh boy. I have... Hold on. Fake fight but make it look convincing. You know what? Coop, you go with Waterboy.
Sharp as my knife.
Go.
Thinking of selling. I like the various types of fabric and stabbing things with needles.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. You can talk about that with Waterboy. Flex your muscles, lift weights, turn up the charm, flirt away. So really, I feel like that this is going to be, one or the other. Flex your muscles, lift weights. Well, which one does he have higher for? Turn up the charm, flirt away. You know what? I think you got the lifting weights part down pat, Punch Up. I need a hero. No one seems to be interested. What's plan B? Read a book. Be mysterious. Read a book. Come on, bud. No!
This doesn't normally happen to me.
Dang. Okay. That sucked. All right. Today was a good day. I had Korean food. That sounds awesome. I want some Korean food. Dude, I'm actually, like, stressed over this. Alright. Hold on. Whoa! So if I go, I need to book it. Whoa!
Okay.
Ah! Oh boy. Okay. Okay, hold on. The key. All right, hold on. I'm going to put this in chat. Down. Left. Left. Hold on, was it down? Yeah. Left, down. Left, down. So we got left, down.
Hello, Mario.
Oh, I know exactly what to do. You're stuck, bitch! Get out of there! Alright, left, down. Left, up. Hi there, Big Gamer. How you doing? Welcome on into tonight's Long Boy Club meeting. We're trying to solve some puzzles. Left, down, left, up. Left, up, left, down? Oh. How about right, down, left, up? Left, up, right, down? There you go. Oh, shit! Oh, damn.
Why?
Okay. All right. Remind me not to hire you as IT. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how to handle the fucking rampant malwares.
Up, down, left, right,
Stop messing me up, chat.
Then press start.
almost took me out back there.
Is there a return policy on this motherfucker?
Yeah, maybe we get someone who doesn't suck instead?
Sorry for the puddles. It's involuntary.
Ease up, it's his first day.
Can it be his last day, too?
Well, if he's so awful, show him the ropes.
Because some things you just can't teach.
Okay, sounds like quitter talk to me.
You calling us quitters?
Prove
Yeah.
me wrong.
Prove me wrong, yeah. Alright. So we got big intellect. So yeah, we got big intellect on her. I feel like mobility is kind of fine. But again, water boy needs like... Again, water boy needs like intellect, because without sonar here, that is definitely what we're lacking in the most. Mobility. Yeah, I'll give her more mobility too. See,
It's getting ridiculous. It's time to put an end to this.
Wait. Assassination takedown. Take down the located assassins and identify the location of their boss.
I love a symmetrical stage picture.
Now listen, you're going to this whether you like it or not. Alright?
Yeah. You are about to feel so much better. And so am I.
Hello.
Wait, busy?
Would you like to play a little game, perhaps? A brain teaser?
Oh boy.
Ugh, I hate this asshole. Careful.
His name's Brain Teaser. How tricky can he be?
Oh boy, it's the Riddler. Which of your plushies would be considered to be a service plush? What do you mean? Capture the small. It may be little, but it is strong. So we gotta capture something, is what I'm hearing. It may be little, but it is strong.
You can't spell assassin with an ass, that's assassin.
You're trying to tell me something.
Yeah, what are you trying to tell him, brother?
There's a mini... no, baby. Tiny kaiju on the beach? It's actually pretty cute, but like, where's its mom?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send Gollum and Ku over there.
There's a retired SDN hero at Kryptonite causing problems. Can you get him out of there?
Oh shit, Astroman. I remember him when I was a kid.
Oh boy.
I've been there.
Really?
Before I joined the Z-Team, I didn't have a pot to piss in.
He had to borrow one of mine.
Cheer up and persuade the retiree to leave the bar. Withstand the beer bottles and chairs thrown at you.
Don't even try it.
Oh boy. Go do it, brother. Please.
I could also just track you down.
Locate and bring in the brain teaser for questioning. Don't let your guard down.
Paying attention.
Solve his riddles 3.
2, 3, and I will gladly turn myself in.
Locate and bring in. Don't let your guard down. God, we are so fucked, dude. We are so fucked. I don't have anyone, dude. Adopt the baby kaiju.
I know what I gotta do.
Do it, brother. Yeah! I'm a dad now! I really hope we see this kaiju later on. Big vigor from friggin' Gollum. Alright, did you do it? Assassination takedown. You can do it. He did it!
Very professional.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Prism and Malevola did it. Good job. Alright, I need them to rest.
You're
I
a
need
dad
them all
now?
to rest here.
What does that make me?
It makes you whatever I want you to be. Come on, rest up. Wait, did they do it? Did they do it? Oh, wow. Okay. They did it! Great!
Almost feels unfair. Almost.
Incredible job, Waterboy. You are now Big Brain Man. Sting. No! No! Humor the brain teaser. Solve his riddles 3 or it's the end you will see. Either that or we could just find the brain teaser.
New me? Fucking rocks.
Hold on, how much time do we have? Locate and bring in the brain teaser for questioning. Don't let your guard down.
I can see everything. Those poor fuckers are screwed.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I understand. Careful, Seb. Brain teaser might start asking you to look for trophies in random areas of the city. Dude, I'll never find those friggin'... I'll never friggin' find those trophies in Southern California.
May I follow?
No. I feel like Flambe's way too intense for him. So what's like the lowest like risk for Waterboy?
I will warm the bench.
Warm the bench, brother. Low injury risk. Again, we could solve his riddles 3 as well, but I don't think Waterboy has the friggin' stats for it.
Alright, alright.
Entire Z team receives XP. Solve his riddles 3, or it's the end you will see. But if I do this, the entire Z team receives XP. So... These bastards might even make you solve said puzzles while driving a tank car.
Very well.
High injury risk. Solve his riddles 3. I believe Koo can do it, dude. I think she can do this.
Great, good shift. Shift every, go, Z team.
How about you go back to wiping up spills, janitor?
The wolf inside us. We'll start with an easy one. What's my favorite game? Not the wolf inside us, brother. I remember that. What about my favorite movie? Waking Dead. Standing Dead. Or they're Standing Alive. Ah, I would have known this if I friggin' did the riddles from earlier. Who is my greatest nemesis of all time? I think Mecha Man Prime, brother. I solved the riddles 3. Did it!
Well, a deal's a deal, dispatcher.
Dude, you can see the ridges.
Waiting downstairs in the lobby for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, we did it! We did it, dude. I think it's heard some combat. Flambe's gonna be the best there. We'll give Malevola some more intellect too. Again, I want her to be kind of like a jack of all. Actually, in that case, that would probably be best for like mobility. Big speedy bitch, Invisigal. There you go. Both her and Gollum as, like, the pairing is honestly inspired. I love that for them. Wait, did Waterboy get anything or no? Aw, dang it. Okay, well, whatever. We got him. We saved the day. Good job. Failures and 1 miss. Honestly, much better than last time. I knew Waterboy was the best choice.
Not only did you cut one of their dumb shit criminal buddies, you're also forcing them to work with
an actual good person that wants to be a hero.
I was gonna go with Wet Baby Bitch Boy, but yeah, we can go with yours.
Yeah, let's go with mine.
Man.
Hey, kid.
I think he did okay.
Love you too, Unk.
Don't fuck
Unk. Well, listen, we didn't fuck too much up today. I think we did pretty okay, all things considered. Hey, what's this? Oh, boy. That was him as a little lad, wasn't it? Yep. This shit's hard, brother. I'm just not getting much use out of Flambe. Yo, I should have cut him! I'm just not getting much out of him.
Hey, honey.
I wish I had the chance to cut him. Again, I feel like Sonar's gonna come back at some point. I just don't know how. I don't know how he's gonna factor into the climax of this game, but I just have a feeling he will. You did good, man. You didn't fuck any missions up. You went on like 3 and you didn't mess up a single one. Aside from, you know...
They make fun of my issue, my stutter.
Oh, no.
Hold the beef. It'll...
I feel Waterboy so much, chat. I mean... I don't know how many people notice, but obviously on stream I have a stutter sometimes. And... You know, that makes... It makes me self-conscious sometimes. So when I'm working with people and they make fun of it, it makes me feel like I don't have a say in things, so I understand. I understand what you're feeling, brother. Aw. Yeah. Hold the beef, brother.
I think it's a stutter.
What? Can you not? It's happening right currently. This very right now. You can't?
You second guess everything, brother.
Well, you're second guessing everything. You do it all the time. I don't think you have a stutter. I think you have a confidence issue. You're worried you're gonna say the wrong thing so you won't finish a sentence.
Yep.
I'm blowing your mind. What are you afraid of with the C-Team? I mean, seriously, what's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, they call me useless. They call me, I don't know, they think I suck.
See? They say that all the time. You worrying about it didn't stop a thing. So fuck them. Fuck me, fuck everybody. From now on, stop caring what anyone else thinks.
We're gonna mold you into an incredible hero, Waterboy. It smells very chemically in here. Give him his first shot. We will mold you into an incredible hero, Waterboy. You just gotta believe in yourself. And then I'll believe in you.
What you watching? Technically, you're still on the clock. Didn't peg you as a rom-com fan.
If I'm on the clock.
I did not know that Prism and Flambe have synergy.
That's extremely inappropriate. Especially since I'm...
We didn't discover that yet.
Not the Peggy.
Noted. Well, tell me how it is. I wanted to see that one.
There's still at least 20 minutes of trailers. I always forget what I'm watching by the time the movie starts.
Oh wait, we're going to a movie with a Visigal?
I'm a loner, Robbie. A rebel. That and I feel bad asking people to pay when I'm just gonna sneak in. The only lame thing is I can't get snacks.
Floating buckets of popcorn do tend to draw a lot of attention.
Ah, but I miss it. I miss popcorn.
Wait, hold on. Up for a late dinner? Oh boy, chat. Hold on. Who are we? This is the moment, chat. Who are we romancing? Because this choice right here is what we're going to pursue for the rest of the game. Okay? It's time to make a choice. Who's better? My upstanding boss or my autistic queen? I'm thinking autistic queen, chat. Romance Waterboy. He could probably use a companion. But unfortunately, that's not a choice. No, that's not a choice. God, this is hard, dude. Listen, obviously, getting with Blonde Blazer would be good. But also, that would make things super weird with Phenomenon. And I don't want to hurt him, you know? I could tell he has a good heart, and I don't want to corrupt that. But a Visigal, I don't want to say I could fix her, but she's super autistic, and I love her very much. Fair part was when Homelander said it's Homeland in time. Oh, what, and he homelanded his brains all over the fucking president's desk? Because that's what happened. Well, thank God he isn't on the Z team. Exactly. Exactly. Good thing Waterboy is. I wonder, dude, I almost want to play this twice just to, choose, the alternative options. Recently watched The Water Boys. The Water Boys, yes. I'm going with the Visigal, chat. I'm going with the Visigal. Sorry, can't tonight. Rain check. Yeah, no worries.
See the first one. Can you give me a recap?
It's against the law for you to be watching like this.
Actually, it's illegal for you to be filming. I don't need the whole thing, just enough to know what's going on.
Okay. It's about this struggling actress who gets this big role from a movie star that mistakes her for his, child.
Yeah, you wouldn't want a blonde man-child with superpowers and mommy issues to be on your team. To be fair, Phenomenon seems like he has more together. He's just going through a rough patch right now. You know? I understand.
Turns out he has a secret too, which could ruin
Sour Pack Kids, Milk Dots.
Yeah.
I'm not that rough. God damn. A blonde man child with superpowers and mommy issues to be on your team. I'm not that rough. God damn. Exactly. You're not a man child, Patch. You're a woman child.
Probably fine, though.
So, what are we, friends now?
I think so.
Or is this some sort of team building exercise?
Do you want to be?
Why? Do you want us to be friends?
I haven't decided yet.
Aw.
Would have been nice to know before I spent $86.
I'm not gonna fuck you just because you bought me a bucket of corn.
Okay.
Can you just be normal for a second?
Listen, you said you don't want to fuck Robert because he bought you a bucket of corn, but you're already dreaming about it. I'm inside your head already. It doesn't matter what you're gonna do, because in your head, you're already doing it. I planted the seeds already. Oh boy.
This is nice. What were you gonna say?
Aw.
Do you like Sour Patch Kids?
They're Sour Pack Kids, brother.
Sour Patch Kids.
Cool. Me too.
$86? Has popcorn become that expensive? Well, you also got to think Robert probably also bought like actual tickets for the movie, right? Along with like, you know, the Sour Patch Kids and the drink and the milk dots. Yeah, that would probably go up. Peak. That was peak, brother. I'm locked in. We need to do episode 5 right now. All right, let's see how our choices stacked up. You had 55% of players added Waterboy to the Z team. You and 57% of players watched a movie with Invisigal. You and 39% of players threw a protein shake at Flambe. You and 78% of players wore blonde blazer about her dress. You and 39% of players adopted the baby kaiju. You and 80% of players failed to save all 3 businesses from the brain teaser. And you and 19% of players correctly answer all 3 of brain teaser's question. Dude, that second one was just a stab in the dark, too. But it went well because we ended up arresting him. So, your most sent hero was Coop. And you performed better than 10% of players in today's shifts. And you activate a hero's powers 38 times. Next episode, chat. Wow. What? Dude, that was cinema. What a 4th episode. And dude, I want to do another one. So let's do it. Let's do another one, chat. I am locked in. Hopefully Waterboy shows up a bit different today. You know? I believe in you, bro, but you gotta believe in yourself first. Because my belief only lasts so long. Alright. Wait. Wait, is he...
All clear.
He got the suit working! He got the suit working! Oh wait, hold on. No, he isn't. He's just getting himself in shape. Just to get the Scary Movie 6 bong-shaped popcorn bucket. I feel like that's a worthwhile investment, brother. A bong-shaped popcorn bucket? You can't just get that shit all the time, okay?
Damage is done. All I want is a conversation.
Wait. Wait, no.
No need to do any more.
Wait. Hold on. Hold on, did Mecha Man once fight Flambe? Or is that already established and I just forgot? Hmm. It's something you forgot. Okay. Or is this like the guy from you know, like the beginning of the game? Oh, hello.
You need some help? You're not supposed to lift without a spot. Idiot.
If you do not have superpowers, you need a spotter.
So weak.
Why, thanks, brother.
Now I'm getting a safety lecture from a walking fireball.
It's a reality check.
Normies need babysitters, so you don't hurt yourself thinking you're a hero. Man, I am so fucking strong.
Well, it's part of the job. Heroes get hurt all the time.
Not the good ones, Rabo. Not the good ones.
Okay, brother. Well, you're no hero yourself.
More hero stuff without supervision. You can't get injured, because we need you behind that desk to help real heroes.
Actually, speaking of injuries, remind me, who burned off your eyebrows again? I assume it happens all the time, given your, your fire shit, so.
I got into a fight with an actual hero. And I assure you, he's regretting his decision to tangle with me.
I imagine he's regretting a lot of his decisions.
That's fucking right. And it's time for you to accept that you don't got it anymore. And pretending you still do is bumming people the fuck out. Now, get your flat ass off my bench.
And Robert, thank you. Enjoy the long cream donuts. Oh, you remembered! You remember that I like long cream the best. Robert Robertson. We're filling out paperwork now? I mean, I guess that's part of the day-to-day operations. Alright. Let's do it, y'all.
Oh, you ever notice the Torrance vibe is like rancid?
Stevenson. Dude, that is my government name, alright? Don't you fucking go spreading that around. We need a poster like that in the Long Boy gym. Dude, you're like making my fucking town building brain go burr right now. Don't you fucking do this to me right before the team building shift. GirafaStev. No, that's my cousin's name.
Fish in the harbor and the giant refinery, I can't tell who's to blame.
Dang, that's some nasty shit.
Man, I love the smell of the refinery.
Alright, we have a full team now.
I love the smell of gasoline.
I do too! Honestly, I like the smell of gasoline.
Everybody, respectfully, shut the fuck up.
Who pissed in your cereal?
Now that's some nasty shit.
Alright.
Do this.
New shift. Water boy.
For our annual talent show. Do it for the kids.
Needs someone magnetic, full of personality, has an eye for talent, and is good with kids. I think that in that case, Prism.
Oh, hell yes.
Not only that, Prism and Waterboy.
This is the job for me.
Go do it, brother.
Oh, this one sounds fun.
Do it. I believe in you. Does the homunculus like the smell of gasoline? I don't know. Homunculus, what do you think?
Vango workers are trapped after a tunnel collapse at the new station. Get them out safely. And discreetly.
Okay. Right, navigate the tunnels and save the workers before they run out of air.
Wait for me, baby.
Come on, Slowpoke.
Aw. Okay, Flambe. Alright, we gotta navigate the tunnels and save the workers before they run out of air. Okay, go.
I feel like Vanderstank is
Okay.
one course away from starting a full-on robot uprising.
That's 97%. You can do it. Yeah, good job.
Okay, I know y'all saw that. Don't be jealous. It's okay.
Incredible.
Your job a whole lot easier.
Oh, wait. Wait, a rumor from Invisigal. Z-Team is on the scene, but it's not as easy as pulling the workers out. How should they proceed? Squeeze through and clear a path,
It's almost
brother.
time for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
You did it!
I know.
Robert, I know. Okay, good. Intellect. We gotta fucking make you smarter, dude. You can't be a fart smeller. You need to be a smart fella, water boy. I'm gonna make you one yet.
We have a crisis. The
Parents start fighting over the results.
joined in too.
Wait, what? Huh? What? No! What? Dude, the... Convince them non-violently, please. Well, listen, I heard that if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please. Alright, cool. Go! Aliens Among Us. Wow. Bam, 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 bam.
For our Aliens Among Us exhibit.
Send an alien-like hero to speak. Present an informative slideshow about themselves. Well... I mean, I literally just sent the person that would have, you know... done this. Well, you know? I literally just sent a person that would have done that very well. Hero training. That would have been Sonar LMAO. Again, I feel like Malevola probably would have done it well too. Present an informative slideshow. To speak.
Say lit.
Prism, I'm counting on you.
My first talent show, I got second place. Got my ass beat by Lizzie Galupo.
Second place? Impossible. The show must have been rigged.
I got her back though. I shot a laser beam and burned all that hair off.
So, I guess you're the real
We are cooking today, dude.
Inspired my first single too. Girl, your hair's on fire.
Sounds like a real
Never say Bob again.
Dude, I love the banter now. I feel like that we are at a point now where we are not hating each other. You know? Where we're actually like working together as a team. So... Charisma. I think you're good for that too, Punch Up. Go. Oh, we got 2 educational opportunities.
Training time. It's training time if anyone's up for it.
Chicken Coop, you go. Aliens Among Us. The children are asking Skeen about living on another planet. Improvise a made-up speech. Enlighten them about life on planet 424. I think you gotta enlighten them, brother. Go. Oh no, we're gonna make the kids cry, aren't we? Yep. God damn it.
Talk your shit.
Man. At the very least, you didn't get injured.
Deirdre Z. Yes, that Deirdre Z. Need help dealing with a stalker.
Outsmart the persistent stalker. Make him disappear. Not like that.
Here I go.
Go, brother. We gotta make him disappear, but not like that.
Yeah, okay.
Go, brother.
What if I just helped like a garden instead?
I don't think... Listen, man. I feel like that you need more than that, okay? Alright, social event. TMS is hosting an anti-bullying seminar. And it would mean a lot if a hero could talk to them. We have a lot of, like, school things happening here, I feel like. Alright, well, I have an idea. I got just the right guy for you, brother. Punch Up. You go over there. Wait, what are you doing? Hold on. Hold on, Gollum. What are you doing, brother? Diamond in the rough.
It's almost time for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Yeah, that would have been Sonar crazy style. One to others when Gollum is assigned. Hold on. I need you over here, brother. Gollum and Punch Up. Go over there and tell them to not be a bully, be a star. Disrupted. Okay, hold on. How do you get rid of a stalker? Serve a restraining order. Pretend to be... Dude, a restraining order? Delete all his files. Pretend to be that. Pretend. I feel like that's going to be like either speech or intellect, and I feel better just deleting his files. We got a hack, brother. Hold on.
Get the backups too.
And the backups too.
Absolutely, dude. All right, chat, remember this. Right, left. Can someone type it in chat real fast? Oh, wait, never mind. Or is it left, right? Okay, never mind. Callus! Or Tay draws Callus, sorry. Thank you very much for following. You're now a member of the Longboy Club for life. I'm trying to move! Ah! Hold on. How are you doing?
Hello, Mario.
Oh boy. No! No! Ah! Alright. Hold on. Armbar! Dude, that's the biggest fucking hold in like the 1,004 holds of GirafaStev. Ah, dude. Okay, we need to move. Quick. Okay, but the armbar is not as famous as the Buffalo Wild Wings on 6th and Main. That shit slaps hard. All right, left, right. Left, right. Left, right. What? Why is it lying to me, dude? Hi, I saw you from the posties. I was one of the people in that crazy little show. It's nice to meet you. I saw you won, like, you know, at least one award. Posty said he showed you my shit that I sent in for it. Right, left. There we go. Ah! Get in there! Prior to the podcast, I'm gay. I gathered that, yes. Alright, we need a flying license now. Wait, waiting? What are we waiting on? The set needs a background actor for an upcoming scene. The last one stalked away in a hurry. Give this performance your all. Break a leg, but not like that. Wait, how about this? All right, on calls in the first slot, Coop now gains +3 combat. If placed in the second slot, she now gains +3 mobility. Oh, that's good. If Koo is set on a call that fails, she will reattempt it. I think that's pretty good. Having someone like having a fail safe like that. We've been quoting armbar like crazy. I'm glad I was able to leave such an impact on you. But no, thank you very much for the follow. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers this year, so that way we can hold 1K Mania. Hold on, let's learn to fly. Your flight cable heroes need a flight license. All right, go and fly. All right. Your big break kit. Oh yes, I hope you can get to 1K. I'm gonna try my hardest to. Thank you. All right, get this performance your all. Break a leg, but not like that. I feel like in terms of performance, Prism's got this one on lock.
You have a charger.
Not on me. Why?
My apartment was without power this morning, and my tablet is dead.
Aw, damn, dude.
And you're in the middle of that book and everything, aren't you?
Fane of the Sun.
No!
He responds.
Bad way. Oh no, man. We fucking taught those kids to do like swirlies
It's
and
almost
stuff
time
instead.
for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Ah, no, I didn't mean to teach them swirlies. Damn it.
Hey, we're getting flooded with calls about sewage in a couple neighborhoods. Which should we hit first?
I'm uniquely equipped for, this looks like the job for me.
Go do it, brother. Koo flies to all locations, or rather call locations, greatly reducing travel time. Great. And Prism, how did you do? 78%. You can do it. You can do it. Good job.
I'm feeling real good.
Good job. Dude, we are cooking today. This is incredible. Charisma, I think that she's got good on that. Hello, Giraffe Rig. How are you doing today? Again, we need someone with good charisma. So, Prism, you go. That's my girl. Dude, that's our girl. Sewage spill.
And what do I have to deal with, huh? Shit. There's poop all over the beach.
Repair the broken pipe causing the spill. Alright, well, how about this?
Unbearable. This should have been dealt with yesterday before it even got this bad. Is there someone else I can speak to?
Clear the clog with willpower. Hold on. Hold on, we're gonna make sure we have enough people to send out to this shit. Literally. Come on. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Okay, back to it.
Who do we send to this? High-profile subscriber. Treat them with the utmost respect. A very high-profile subscriber. Treat them with the utmost respect. Investigate the source. Investigate the source. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do this for you.
What's it going to be this time?
Clear the clog through sheer willpower. And high-profile subscriber. Treat them with the utmost respect. Well, then we need someone that commands respect herself. And really, I can't think of anyone other.
No worries.
Actually, hold on.
Guess what?
Again, I can't think of anyone better than Prism for the job. Waterboy, go do your thing.
Who's the most bullyable on the Z team?
It's Waterboy, obviously.
It's an honor to be nominated.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's me.
Waterboy can get a girl wet.
Wow, dude, come on. A rumor heard by Invisigal. Wait, what's this? Oh, wait, hold on.
Need of a very specific type of hero for my upcoming project.
I don't like the way you're talking to me, dude. Someone who is assumingly strong. Someone with an air of mystery and intellect. And assumingly strong. Well, I can't think of anyone better for the job than goddamn Coop right here. So we'll do that. Alright, refinery explosion.
We got it under control, but we can't investigate the cause with all these dangerous fumes.
Flambe.
I would never blow up a refinery, okay? They smell like shit.
Someone's pushing on my boy's explosion territory.
Okay. So certain conditions will guarantee a fail, so we can't bring Flambe to this. Alright? Alright, avoid the dangerous fumes and flames.
Yeah, alright.
Hold on. Hold on just a second. We did it! Good job. Call outcome. Wow. Wow, look at that art, chat. Again, we're just making him vigored up crazy style here. My roommate just walked in with our dog. He's like a big boy too, and he's just sitting there completely content with life. Alright.
It's almost time for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Oh god, I thought you just said call out come. What were they thinking? Dude, my roommate literally thought the same thing, and he had to do like a double take. Alright, so we're gonna run the ad. This gives me a little bit of time to think about things.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
Refinery explosion.
Billy
Dude, that would be awesome to send Waterboy to. That's literally his bag, you know? Oh boy.
Strong mini burgers everyone loves. No more
Legendary ad time, chat.
Flipping and flopping. With the slider station, just scoop, press, and cook right on your stove. The unique design cooks both sides at once, so you never have to flip them. And in just 2 minutes, you'll have 5 mouth-watering sliders. Use dinner rolls, potato rolls, any bun. You can double or triple stack them and
watch your family attack them, chat.
Top with pickles, onions, ketchup or cheese. Big city sliders are sure to please. The double-sided non-stick surface is so slick, not even burnt-on cheese will stick. Whether it's ground beef, chuck, or sirloin, just scoop, press, and cook. No flipping and no hassle. Make healthy turkey, chicken, and veggie burgers with ease. And join the craze with me, Billy Mays. You can also cook them on a bed of onions.
Dude, I said it once, I'll say it again. Billy Mays has got those fucking bars. Memories of my 10-year-old self giggling as I called them big shitty slider. I mean, that right there is bars, okay?
You're gonna love it. And when you're done, clean up's a breeze. Call now and receive
that right there is playground conversation. Big city sliders? More like big shitty sliders. What were they thinking?
And the original Billy Burger free. But call right now and we'll send
That's literally an AVGNism, dude.
Onions, pickles, and mushrooms. A $20 value free. Just pay separate shipping and handling. You get it all. Big City Slider Station, measuring scoop, recipe guide, and quick
to be
press
fair,
slicer.
that right there is funny as hell. So.
Order right now.
I mean, to be fair, I enjoy myself a slider every now and then. We have like a locally owned place. It's called like Powers Hamburgers, and they make the best sliders I've ever tasted. So like if I had to pick between anything, then it would probably be that in terms of sliders. Never like the White Castle frozen ones though. Those are always like soggy, you know. And they go down horrendously. So also, hi Plumpy, how you doing? Sorry, welcome on into tonight's Lomboy Club meeting. I thought you just said call out cum. I mean, like, dude, listen. If you see cum, you gotta call it out, alright?
Nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back, my dudes.
Especially if you're staying at, like, a hotel. I once stayed at, like, a...
I love the smell of gasoline so much that I frequently take gasoline bubble baths while surrounded by soothing candles.
That's pretty crazy, brother. But I'm happy for you. Alright. Good job! Wow, Coop. You got that shit on lock. Hold on.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
Call me a BOGO bitch.
Avoid the dangerous fumes and the flames. Yeah, do not send flambe. That is a disaster waiting to happen. Instead, we gotta send that, okay? Instead, we gotta send Invisigal and Waterboy. Go do it, brother. Dangerous fumes and flames. Go do it.
I'll get the fires under control.
Do it, brother.
Word in the hallways is you went on a date. Is that true?
You
What if it
jealous or
was?
something? Look, if you wanted to grab dinner, all you had to do is ask.
You're not my type.
I doubt that, brother. Alright, mobility as well for her. That's good. I feel like we're getting somewhere with her.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, hello, Patootie. Take gasoline bubble baths while surrounded by soothing candles. Dude, no wonder my house smells like a friggin' like oil refinery. You gotta cut that shit out, dude. I'm still not taken Flambe out for really any jobs lately. There just hasn't really been a lot of use for him, you know? Oh no. Oh. You did it! Good job!
Looks like the Red Ring was behind this. But what are they up to?
Red Ring is caught. Great job, guys. So I'll give him mobility as well. Actually, no, I'll give him vigor. He looks like the vigorous type. If this game allows you to date both guys and girls, would you try to taunt Waterboy or Flambe? Flambe, definitely. Waterboy makes you think of like a little brother figure. So I'm not really down for that. Mobility for her. She's a speeder. Wow, guys. Great job.
Maybe he's got an iron stomach. Do we know anybody like that? Super digestion?
The Glutonator? But I don't know. I think I weighed like 1,000 pounds.
Hey, Robert, did you recently lose like 700 pounds?
First off, you're either shit at math or you think I'm like 300 pounds. I am not. I go to the gym and I work hard. Secondly, what are you talking about?
There's a pool going around on which superhero you used to be. Person who guesses right wins $936.
That's a real specific number.
And that specific number could be ours. Just one hint. I mean, we're friends, right? Make your friends some money.
I'm double jointed.
Oh!
Flipping your eyelids inside out?
I wish. Love to be able to do that.
Oh, come on, don't be like that.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to earn your $936 in some other way. What way could that be? I'll let you know if I work it out. Get it? I'm explaining the joke.
Oh, hey.
Decent reflexes.
Hey, Beef, no.
Which heroes do we know that talk too much and have quick reflexes?
Clean this shit up.
Hey, losing all that weight don't make you better than us. Yeah. Chill out, Dad. I never had a dad.
Aw.
Fuck that's supposed to mean?
You told me one time you didn't have a dad.
Huh.
Aw. Alright, back to work on the friggin' Mecha Man suit.
Heard the team scuffling with the Red Ring.
They run half the crime in the county. We were bound to bother them at some point.
Watch yourself. You poke the hive, you're gonna have to fuck the queen.
That's not how bees work.
You know what I mean.
I don't, actually. No one's trying to fuck Shroud. But if we kill the queen, we rot the hive.
You would do that? Kill Shroud? Because you might get the chance. And you don't want to go in there having to think about it.
Yes.
You gotta know.
Shroud killed him, Chase. There's only one thing I can do.
You know that's not true. I'm not sure your dad would want it that way.
You're not sure. Should we ask him?
Point taken. Mecha Man's coming back to life one patch at a time.
One patch at a time.
I mean, Royd's doing most of the work though, right?
So much. He's probably gonna redo all this shit.
I'm proud of Waterboy, chat. I'm so proud.
Evening,
all right.
Folks. Welcome back.
We got a few guesses at your identity. Leading one right now is Blue Balls Man.
Let me guess. His power is not being able to nut.
Nah, his balls are literally blue, dude. Get your head out of the gutter.
It's gonna be a long shift.
I gotta deal with like my
Cat is out there.
with like you know, my coworker that's my girlfriend, but not actually my girlfriend.
Mr. Cat? That's seriously his name.
Hey, look, not everyone's a fucking creative.
Mr. Cat, 9-year-old black domestic short hair, is a known escape artist and very fast. He also hates most people. Alright, well, I have an idea then. I may not have a brain, gentlemen. But I have an idea.
Right behind you. You gonna be online tonight?
Oh yeah.
Great. Otherwise, I gotta play with randos.
Aw. Dude, what do they play together? Oh, no. What?
Did we just lose power?
Uh-oh.
Sure did. Citywide. Hang tight, we're booting up the backup generator. There we go.
All right, well, we have a new obstacle then.
Just brace yourself.
Oh, shit.
Oh, y'all can't see? I'm a human nightlight. I don't got those problems.
Yeah, it's just a little dark. What's the fucking big deal? You never closed your eyes before? Yeah, same shit.
I mean, I can see in the dark, so this is pretty standard for me.
Alright, fuck you guys.
Whole city's out. Guys, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. Okay, I'm gonna get the grid back up and running. Be ready because shit's gonna be insane the minute the lights turn back on.
Some real action? Thank you.
All right. All right, we need to restart the power then. And then we're probably going to get like 6 calls at once. Let's do it. What is this? Oh boy. Right. Right, guide the energy charge over to your avatar. Okay. Oh, I get it. I understand. All right. Water boy is like me. Why is he like you? Patsuti. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, I understand. I get it. I understand. Okay. There we go. Why is Waterboy like you? Patsuti. So yeah, we're dealing with like a crime ring now, huh? That shit's about to get real interesting, I feel like. He what? No way, dude. Me too. Yep, here we go.
Are defacing the Torrance Library mural. Hurry and catch them before there are peens everywhere.
Before there are penises everywhere. Oh boy. Drawing peens everywhere. Catch the peens and bring them to justice. That sounds like a job for Coupe. Or Coop. Go do it.
Soccer fans are not a fan of this blackout. Shit's getting scary. We gotta get them the hell out of here.
I'm on it. No stopping me this time.
Go, brother. Alright, Waterboy assigns himself when not sent often. He gains +1 to the highest stat for the call. He can only be removed 1 time. Oh, so he just fucking comes in then. Alright, so we need to evacuate the stadium. The XP of this scenario will be that. Okay. Alright, well, who's smart? Our smartest one is, like, out right now.
You're, sweating again.
Am I? That tracks. What's a good time to test a guy in a blackout?
I'm looting the Ralphs. You want anything?
Oh, you always did look hotter in the dock.
Just say boo.
You're a
Boo.
genius.
Oh, yeah. That was a good job, Coop. Nailed it. Next.
Situation at Vent Labs. They told me to call SDN. I'm just an intern.
Hold on. Hold on. I got the group to send your way, brother. Give me just a second. Hero training. Wait. Hold on. Did we do it? Maybe. Hold on. Great job.
Don't mention it. Seriously.
What?
Don't.
Malevolent Waterboy of Synergy? Dude, this right here is like the most inappropriate team up of all time. And they have Synergy? This right here is like a... Okay. Chat, respectfully, this is like a Dommy Mommy situation, I feel like. Minor increase in success chance when set together. Again, we need like intellect there. And as for you, I think we need to like kind of build both these characters around each other now, right? Like, you have charisma. Yeah, she has synergy with it because Sonar is no longer on the team. Aw. So, like, does she have, like, synergy, like, with whoever you replace Sonar with? Like, would it be the same with, Phenomenon? Or no? Alright, we need to stabilize. Your team will fail this scenario if you do that.
Cool.
Act quickly. Okay, well, I can't really send... Alright. If it's a gal, you're gonna need to do this on your own, babe.
Mostly, like, bad shit, though.
Alright, hero training.
See you can use some help. Feel free to send someone.
Good job. Hold on. Stabilize the effect. Come on, no. You did it! No!
Tried hard. That's what matters.
Well, at least she didn't get injured. We take those. Feel free to send someone. Hero training. Oh, I see. Well, hold on. Let me see what this one is.
Me again. You're not gonna believe this, but now there's some scary dudes with scary weapons. I'm quitting after this, man. I can't do this.
Prevent... yes. Go, brother. Now, who do you have chemistry with, Flambe? Prevent them from stealing it. So we need...
I'm your guy.
Sure are, brother. You go. Prevent them from stealing it. So we're gonna need, like, speed, right?
Graceful, but deadly.
I understand.
Oh, yeah. I think they got this. Go!
What does fire taste like?
Pop rocks, but more spicy, kind of like a spicy pop rock.
What the fuck are pop rocks?
Wow.
Water boy, you go down and help her. Wait, hold on. Fly the serum into the ocean. Hold on. Fight the red ring. Stop the red ring. This tiny vial could destroy the entire city. Fight the red ring, brother.
Fuck these guys up.
Go do it. If anyone could do it, it's Flambe and Coop. Okay? Good job.
Finally noticed. I'm perfect.
No, you're just... I finally found a use for you, brother. I finally found a use for you. Alright, we need to do more of this. Attempts until lockout. We have two attempts. I feel like we're gonna get some malware in here again. There we go. Nice. Oh boy, we have multiple of these to work with now. Ah, that sucks, dude. Okay.
Just a little longer.
Up, left, right. Okay. Up, left, right, up, left, right, up, left, right. Up, left, right, up, left, right. Up, left, right. There you go. Down. Go. Dude, we are cooking today. We actually do. We have a chance to do something.
With the tower, and it's pitch black out here. I cannot land this thing. Help?
Uh-oh.
I know this sounds crazy, but can you guys catch this thing in the air?
Right, requires cable flying heroes and guide it to safety. Light aircraft unable to land. Oh, I got you, dude. Boy, do I got you.
You're not gonna like what you see anyway.
We gotta slow it down and guide it to safety. Well, guiding it. Flambe. Slow the aircraft's landing and guide it to safety. Flambe, you can light yourself on fire, right? Go and do it and send that aircraft. Alright. Eager Sponge. Eager Super Sponge to the highest stat for the call. Waterboy no longer assigns himself. Waterboy will heal up to 2 heroes when sent on a call together. That sounds really good, honestly. Eager Super Sponge. Super Sponge. I mean, that kind of nullifies the one quirk that he has, but you kind of trade in for something that's much better, I feel like. Senior home checkup.
Parkwood senior community, and she hasn't answered her phone since the blackout.
Reassure that all is well. Be prepared to provide medical assistance. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone, brother. Flambe, did you do it? Ah, that's awful, dude. That's rough.
I think it's better this way.
Wow, we are getting a lot here. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Flambe, heal up.
Refreshing.
Okay, go door to door. Reassure that all is well and be prepared to provide medical assistance. Medical assistance. Go.
The power's back on, but the refinery is still in a shit state. Can you lend a hand?
Help repairing the refinery. Haul damage out of the way.
Fucking rocks.
Any delays could cause another explosion and subsequent power outage, so move quickly. Okay, that's gonna be hard then.
Am I fired?
You're not fired, brother. It's fine.
But deadly. Back to the shadows.
Now that's doable.
Noted.
This call will fail. Oh boy. Okay.
Woohoo!
Repairing damage. Any delays could cause another explosion.
Nothing beats the original, but this will have to do.
So we need to move quickly. Alright.
I understand.
It's okay, bro.
Swift as the night. Sharp as my knife.
Get dusted.
Ta-ta.
I feel like that's the best we have there.
Call me a BOGO bitch.
Right, any delays? We need help repairing the refinery.
Alright, have fun without me.
So we need to move quickly.
Close your eyes. You're not gonna like what you see anyway.
That's good.
I have extra flashlights.
Damn, someone could have too much power. You're right. Calm the superpowered baby out of his tantrum and rescue the parents of the pocket dimension. Alright, so we need someone that's good with children. Oh, I have a great idea. Oh, damn, no, we don't have time right now.
My baby brother ate my mommy and daddy.
Right, rescue the parents out of the pocket dimension. You calm the superpower baby out of its tantrum.
this time.
You're gonna go into a baby's stomach, brother.
Hey, it's like dark and shit out here.
Damn it, the Red Ring's stealing shipments right off the train. We're not equipped to stop them.
Defeat the Red Ring goons. What? Dude, you're so shit now. Ah.
Get my good side.
No, this won't do, man. This is not gonna do. Secure.
He's so real for that.
Dude, we're just gonna need to do it.
You smell weird.
Trying on a new cologne?
Well, stop trying then.
Stop trying then. Paul. You have 36. Oh!
I don't think so. Try that shit again.
Oh, hey! Oh, wait! No, no! It came with the play! It came with the play!
All in a day's, ships. All in a work. All in a work. You get it, right?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna bring...
Hello, Mario.
Ooga Booga winning, but we're trying our best to, brother. We are trying our fucking best to. It's a little hard right now because everything is just going to shit in terms of, like, our capabilities at the moment. So I'll give Waterboy some vigor. I think he has pretty good intellect at the moment. Right, is there anyone else that we can bring or no? We go door to door and reassure people. Go do it. No!
I don't care, okay?
I think you care a little bit. And the fun thing is when you say you don't care, that tells you that you care a lot. This call will gain extra XP. Come on, get there. Yes, you can. Good job.
Oh, I'm gonna stay winning.
Family reunited. All right. Great. Let's see here. Charisma, intellect. I feel like we're kind of at a point right now where, like, Gollum is pretty good with vigor. But I want him to be even better. So that's what's going to happen. I'll give him a little bit of charisma, though, just to give him some more facets to his game. And as for you, you need more intellect yourself. Actually, that probably wasn't the best idea. Alright, did you do it? No, you didn't. It's gonna be real close. Stop! Stop!
Whatever, I ain't even mad about it.
You're so mad, dude. I'm mad for you. I'm mad for you. Symphony of overlapping calls. Actually, I'm gonna let them rest for a second. So that way when we're... Flambe, I'm sorry, man. Hold on. He has... Dude, he's rank 3. He's the worst out of everyone right now. Everyone else is, like, rank 5 at least. Waterboy's already better than him. I can't get anything with this guy, dude. Attempts until lockout. That sucks, dude. Probably would have been better to just leave it. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh, I could kill the... I can kill the antiviruses with them. Fuck you, man. You better run. I got you dead to rights.
Nearly there.
There we go. I'm really not doing Flambe too many favors in this run, I feel like. He's just not proven to be very useful. You know? And now we're down one guy.
We've got several lootings in progress, and our guys are getting overwhelmed.
Help apprehend the thieves.
Oh, basic. Bitches out here wearing ski masks and robbing banks. Where's the originality?
Ah, shut up. It's like the go-to blackout activity.
And besides burning all those shitty candles your aunties gave you.
I can't even, like, bring him back, dude. This right here is just how it's gonna have to be.
Probably for the best.
Let's see here.
Let's go.
New me? Fucking rocks.
Alright, assist in evacuating the civilians. Help apprehend the thieves. Actually, what would...
Here I come. Rolling out. I love a symmetrical stage picture.
There you go. Well, hold on. I want to send Waterboy with you. And not only that, I want to send her with you as well.
Thank you, baby.
If not for these blackouts.
Hey, nice.
Prince of Darkness returns Fane's feelings by now. This is unacceptable. I crave revenge.
Can you take revenge later? We've got other shit to do.
Touché. Alright, well, how about this? How'd they do? Ah, set. Oh, nice.
And that's how we do it down under.
Great job.
Daughter was at the beach with her friends, and I haven't heard from her. I'm really worried.
High priority search and rescue mission has been sent out across all teams to locate missing teens. Okay, well, in that case,
Graceful, but deadly.
search and rescue. I feel like that is the team right there, right? Because we need to locate missing teens. So we need intellect, probably. And we also need speed. At least that's what it seems like.
My old friend.
Dude, we're sandwiched in here. I can't feel my foot.
Severe blockage. Safely from their vehicles.
Won't let you down, baby.
Go do it. I believe. Push the vehicles out of the street. Come on. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Where should we start? Search the pier. We'll sign them by the pier. Where else should we look? Search the water. I'll sign them by the water. Search the beach. We found them in the lifeguard tower. Be cool, don't force it. That would have... No, come on, man.
Come on, stay focused.
The teens mocked you. Oh, man. Catch up to the use on e-bikes and convince them to surrender.
Ugh. Damn, I think this shift gave me carpal tunnel.
Huh. Would have guessed years of cranking it would get you there first.
Probably a combo type deal.
Dude, who's up cranking their fucking hogs? Big style.
And another one.
And another one. Good job, guys. Flambe, I'm sorry. I'll try and do you better on the next round. I'll try and do you better on the next time around. Alright, did we do it? I think that's pretty much a lock, but we'll see. There we go. Good.
Good job.
Alright, and we have new things here. Alright, Malevola, you're gonna get combat. Either that or charisma. One of the two. No, combat, definitely. Because if I'm gonna send you and Waterboy out together more often, you guys need to be able to, like, feed off each other. So...
Look at you, climbing the corporate ladder.
Associate Dispatcher. So we have one SDN pharmacy item, which means I can probably patch someone up and bring them back. And one random point. Yeah, because he really needs the level ups. He really does, yeah. Which means I can heal an injury for him, like, once per thing, right? Alright, who gets a random charisma one? I'm just gonna give it to Flambe. He needs it. He needs something. Anything. To help him, you know, catch up with everybody.
Good week, everybody. See you all on Monday.
Oh, man.
Not sure I'd fit in.
Just go dress like that. Everyone will just think you're a pervert.
Yeah, all right.
Let's fucking go, literally.
And I am also excited, Robert.
That's so cute.
Sound like a fart on a car seat. And I could read your mind.
That is the most adorable thing of all time, chat.
Why are you out here?
Too damn big.
Well, you want a drink?
Sure.
You want two?
Sure.
Aw, Gollum.
Hey, creep.
Creep?
I don't know you, and I don't like not knowing people.
Well, you won't like knowing him. He's the biggest perv west of the LA River. And he's with us.
She's joking. I'm
not my business. But if you do go jerking off in the bathroom, you make it my business.
I don't want to be in that business.
Dude, I love how the villains just have their own bar. Like, even though they're villains, they have, like, a culture of sorts. Hey, man.
Buy me a drink.
Is this for all the strings you had to pull to get me in here?
You got me Sour Patch Kids on our first date. I figure whiskey makes sense for the second. Third date, you can buy me dinner. Nothing too filling, though. Just in case.
Yeah, that was fun. I hadn't been to the movies in a while. I had a good time.
You had a good time eating popcorn too loud while I sat silently next to you?
The silence was the best part.
You might like me loud sometime.
Was that about sex?
Catch on quick. I'll grab us a table.
2 fancy whiskeys, please.
Make it 3. 4.
Make it 5. 5 fancy whiskeys? No. 9 shitty whiskeys.
Good lad. We should have invited him earlier.
He never said that. Said he reminded me of my ex, and he's got buzzkill ass energy.
You're buying next.
Never mind. Kick him out.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. When you have a moment.
Take one of these.
What do I owe?
Why is he so tall? I didn't realize he was so big.
Have fun.
Look, be honest.
Am I going to make a fool of myself if I sing Whitney Houston?
Are you Whitney Houston?
No.
Then yeah, you will.
Fuck. He's right.
You better watch yourself.
Other darts guy.
You don't need to bribe me anymore. I'm in your debt now.
Oh boy.
Ever need somebody? Remember me?
Oh, she's drunk, dude.
I'll keep you in mind.
You can't have that outside. Fine.
Oh my gosh. Waterboy's so... Dude, he literally he sticks out like a sore thumb. He's like the most out of place guy to ever be here. He walks like a hero, looks like a hero, talks like a hero. He's literally a hero.
They can still smell the hero on you. You're the enemy.
I bought them drinks. What else do they want?
You can buy them drinks. You can make sure they don't get fired. You can line them up and blow them one by one, but they're still gonna think you might be the hero that fucked up their life.
People don't think about much when I blow 'em. But I hear what you're saying. I would argue they fucked up their own lives being criminals.
See that snark shit? Just tell them who you are. What are the odds that you busted any of them anyway?
Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh no. Yeah, we got flambe earlier, didn't we? He just fucking seems like he would be that, wouldn't he? Yep, absolutely. We fucked up his life, dude. Oh no.
Come on, you out of gas? Disappointing.
Oh, and that was, dude, this was like eyebrow flambe too. Mecha Man did screw flambe screwed flambe.
My name's Robert.
Oh wow.
My name is Robert. I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch. I'm such a fucking bitch. I have no hopes. I have no dreams. And a tiny little pain. And it doesn't even function anyway. Get erectile dysfunction.
I thought he lost to working in a deli or something.
There was this incident in crypto where he was fucking with me and I kinda...
You stole his eyebrows?
They burnt off, which somehow makes less sense than what you just said. So, you can see why I'm worried about getting incinerated.
We all pay for who we used to be. The sooner you get it over with, sooner we get a fresh start.
You heard me when I said right.
Who let a loser-ass bitch of a hero into our supervillain bar?
Oh my god, he has like T-Rex arms.
Do I look like a bitch? Don't answer that. Fuck. Is he big? He's got big guy voice.
Some parts of him are big.
Alright, from now on, team drinks are exclusively at Chili's.
Are you lost or something, bitch? Or are you trying to get fucked up? A lot of bars around here, fool. Why'd you pick this one? You got a death wish, homie?
Well, since you twisted my arm...
No one's talking to you, fucking what the...
Everyone will remember that.
It's almost time for a 3-minute Cheetos break, my dudes.
Hold on. Hold on. Oh no. I need to run the ad chat right when things are getting like heated.
It's break time.
Sorry.
Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
Raw rolls on after this.
Mr.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
As a side note, I'm pretty hungry right now, chat. But I want to keep going. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I want to do one more episode, even though it would probably take a long time.
The world may never know.
No CGI has ever looked this 80s. And also made me, like, uninterested, you know, like, in drinking the product. Yeah, I figure the episodes do get longer, so we might just need to, like, end it after this one, just for the sake of making sure we're not up super late. No, I'm having so much fun with this. This is such a good game, dude. I don't want to drink Hawaiian Punch now, chat. That shit is... Dude, after seeing that, I don't want to drink it.
When you drive to Wendy's and order a single, you get more beef than the Whopper or the Big Mac.
Home of Big Bun.
At Wendy's, you never have to ask, where's the beef?
Infinite, I feel like we can add one more commercial to that lineup there. I don't know which one, but I feel like we can add one more, just for the sake of making it 3 minutes. I mean, I know you just have, like, a friggin' hard drive full of commercials lying around, so...
Nom nom nom.
Something
Oh,
worth thinking
excuse me,
about.
we're back, my dudes.
Anyways, here we go. You know what? You know what, dude? I'm gonna kill you. What? Uh-oh. Wait, where are we going? Where are we going, dude?
Here. Try this.
Oh, wait, we're just outside. Wait, we're just outside. Wait, do we all get fucked up?
Is the can I spends reporting expensible? Can I get my money back paid, please?
We all just went out after. Oh my god!
I ordered 3 triple crunch tacos.
Oh man. Wait. Whoa! Okay. All right, locked in.
She temporarily blinded me! Blind forever!
No, I didn't order that. I ordered 3 tacos.
Triple crunch tacos, yeah, you've muttered it 50 times. Just eat that. It's the same shit anyway. Literally everything at this place is just a remix of the same 5 ingredients. Hot sauce? You drunk or concussed?
I'd go with both. Or do some friendly fire.
Yep. Fuck you, Colin. like you, but fuck. Oh my god! Now that's team building. Whoa, hey!
Sorry, boy.
Oh god.
You wash your hands after touching all them filthy nutsacks? Thought he seemed salty.
Ew! Ew!
Thanks, babes. Sauce it up for me and everything. Think you're looking for these.
The tacos. Yay. We got him, dude. Ah! Oh, what? Penises, huh? Oh, a cock's probably drawn on there or something. See, Homunculus, we got to see Peanards after all.
Love this!
She's probably singing Whitney Houston in like the actual like licensed version of this. Oh no! Ah! Dude, you can break it.
Weird thing is how easy it was. This churro isn't as soft as his noodle arms.
Maybe give us a heads up next time you want to start a fight. I want another drink.
You're heroes now. Heroes don't start fights. You finish them.
Well, not many finish fights against the Red Ring.
How do you have beef with them, Mr. Dispatcher? Yeah, we know this Robert guy is a front. Who are you?
Alright, we're gonna fucking...
You're right. It's a front. This guy, Robert, is a mask.
Yeah, we're gonna need to.
He's the guy who sits behind his desk, biding his time, dreaming of the day he gets back in the fight. I haven't told you who I was because I'm kind of starting to like you all, and I'm not sure you're gonna like the real me. But the difference between this team getting by and this team being great is trust. So you should get to know the real me.
We're telling them, dude.
I'm Mecha Man.
No fucking way.
Does Easymore remember that?
That's like a real superhero. It is you. You little shit.
Uh-oh. Gollum!
It's just a bit of water, dude. Come on.
Fuck you. Fuck all of you fucking fuckers.
No way.
Fucking loser.
Did we just lose Flambe too?
You saved my life.
Yup. Thanks for the drink.
Aw.
So, I expected to be burnt to a crisp by now, and I didn't plan any of this next part. Anybody else got something to say?
My name's Courtney.
Nice to meet you, Courtney.
Sometimes Herman or Hermie, but my grandma calls me Herm, so.
Dude, we're building a real fucking team here.
I'm Alice.
Bruno.
Malevola. Your last name's Gibb?
My name's Colin.
So, what now? Orgy time?
Right, mega fuego sauce and ass play sounds like a great combo.
Good point. Anybody have another packet of that stuff?
Yeah. That's like a real superhero. You told the truth. Well, chat, I want to do one more. I want to do one more.
Oh.
Huh?
Sounds like hip hop, but it's not, because then the white guitar come in, the white blue guitar. It's like Run DMC. You know, they came through a wall, but this is a different song. I hate the world today. You're so good to me. I know that I can't change. I can't change.
We're heroes now, brother.
You look at me like maybe I'm an angel underneath. Innocent and sweet, like sweet.
Bust out the dancing emotes, chat.
This is the lady in the song, not me. You must have been relieved to see the softer side. So soft. I back up, sing for me. I can understand how you could be so confused. I don't envy you. I'm a little bit of everything.
Bust out mine too if you got him.
Bitch. My name's Robert, such a bitch whose name is Robert. I'm a bitch, yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm such a fucking bitch. I have no hopes, I have no dreams. And a tiny...
Wait, hold on. The chat's broken. The chat's broken, chat. Hold.
Just tiny little bitch, have a man.
Alright, chat, do it again. Do it again.
Make you nervous, and I'm going to extremes. Tomorrow I will change, and today won't mean a thing. Poetry. I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, I'm a child, I'm a mother, I'm a sinner and a saint. I do not feel ashamed. I'm your hell, I'm your dream. Nothing in between. You wouldn't want it. Tough. That's tough for anybody. That's so hard. Fuck. Oh, guitar riff. Since a child, I'm a prodigy.
Oh, I'm proud of this. You and 79% of players told the Z team you were Mecha Man.
I'm fucking the Jackson 5 by myself. 3.
You and 88% of players told Invisigal they had a good time.
Oh, I jumped early, my bad.
You and 39% of players told Chase they would kill Shroud.
I think it's cool.
Why do you sound like Butthead during his guitar solo? You and 74% of players held your own against the Red Ring at the Sardine.
There we go, I'm loud.
You and 26% of players failed to say Torrance. Failed to say the Torrance Middle School Talent Show. You and 59% of players chose to send the air team to the rescue. Your most set hero was Waterboy.
Any other way, like
you performed better than 30% of players in today's shift.
I'm a goddess on my knees. When you get hurt, when you...
And you activated a hero's powers 39 times. Your most successful hero was Waterboy. You barely succeed on a call 2 times. Chat. This game is so good. I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop right now, chat. But we are, unfortunately, coming to a close on our time here tonight. There's the store, too. You think I got money for this? Because I don't. Waterboy has that drip. Literally, he's dripping. He is dripping right now. But at least he has the decency to clean it up. So my question is this. Now that we've told the truth, we will be stronger as a team. Right? But does that mean we just lost Flabe as old Drippy? Dude, that's what he is. He's gonna go out and get fucking lattes for everybody at the start of the next episode. I gotta look up his version of the song later. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like an actual song. Alright. Dude, next we got movie parts. I can't believe we're like already like past the halfway point of this game. I don't want it to end, dude. This has been incredible. This has been an incredible time. But now I'm curious to see what Phenomenon would be like in Waterboy's place, you know? Because, like, with Waterboy, it feels a lot more, I guess, you know, it feels more like you're palling around. Whereas, like, with Phenomenon, I just feel like he would be like the group's dad, you know? He ain't like me, man. Dude, he's not like most girls, you know? Employees are expected to use good judgment and avoid situations that create an actual or potential conflict between their personal interests and the interests of SDN. The SDN Handbook, page 12. Okay, well, how about this? It is the intent of the company to maintain a workplace that is free of drugs and alcohol and to discourage drugs and alcohol abuse by its employees. Well, funny you say that. Dude, there's like a bunch of different movie parts here that I feel that with a few different choices, the story changes, you know, big style. Like in a really big way. Oh, God. Chat. Again, I don't want this to end tonight, but I know I'm probably going to regret it if we continue on. The sonar scene at the bar is small, but really wholesome. Maybe I'll play through it a second time, like in the Discord server or something. By the way, what are your thoughts on Mick Foley hosting Double or Nothing? I think it's good that he's out of the bad place. I don't expect them to like do anything crazy outside of just hosting the pre-show, you know? But I'm glad that he's in a place now where he has a higher chance of feeling like he's seen, right? And that he's not like in a position to where he feels like that he has to compromise himself in order to stay within, you know, a company. Because that's never fun. So, also, he's coming for an autograph signing at my... Also, he's coming for an autograph signing at my local comic shop. Fed bad. Well, alrighty, dude. Yes. Okay, cool. Now then. Dude, it is. I mean, you can like it, but it is. I mean, like, you can like the product, but it is. So, anyways, let's fucking go ahead and rate out to somebody. Fed bad equals WWE is trash. Bad fed equals telling your personal FBI agent to stop bratting. That's all FBI agents, brother. What are you talking about? Let's go ahead and let's rate into someone that I've not really rated into that much. At least that's what I would like to do today. Let's see here. I think Lumi is about to raid out, so I'm not gonna do that. I could raid into Ripley, but again, I've done that recently, so I'm thinking that. Here, while I figure this out, you guys. You guys watch the ad.
It's break time. Where are the Cheetos, my dudes?
How many times have you accidentally dropped something where it falls just out of your reach?
Oh, goodness.
Hi, Anthony Sullivan here for the Ready Reacher, the incredible, extendable, handy helper that grabs and gets what you can't get to.
Use Ready Reacher in the car to get in that impossible-to-reach area. The Ready Reacher uses a super sticky goo pad that grips and grabs what your fingers
You know what?
can't
I'll go ahead and
find.
rate
Lost
into
the remote?
Blanc.
If you can't reach it,
He's
Ready
playing
Reacher.
Star
In the
Fox
car,
64
Ready
right
Reacher's
now.
the best. Whether it's a credit card or a quarter,
get into that impossible to reach area
I can't tell you if it
without
has
ever busting a
fuckable
nail or
animals in it.
knuckle. Drop your cell phone, reach
Or
for the
fuckable
Ready
furry
Reacher.
creatures in
What
it.
once was lost,
But
now it's found. Credit
it
card
definitely
gone
does have
AWOL,
furry
get it back
creatures in
with the
it.
Ready Reacher.
In
No
64
matter what you
bits of
drop
power.
or where you drop it, the Ready Reacher is the handy helper that reaches for you.
Dude, you know that friggin' pad there is just going to attract the world's hair population.
Size of a pen and extends to over 3 feet, so you don't have to bend. Keep it in a drawer, a glove box, or just about anywhere. Call or click and get the Ready Reacher for just $10. But as part of this special offer, we'll upgrade you to the deluxe double-tipped Ready Reacher Pro with magnetic LED and GoopAd tips. Use it in the dark to search for a lost
this thing is
spirit
just
or
going to
pick up
attract
a
the
pen
world's
that's
hair
all between
population,
seats.
dude.
If you've
It's
got
gonna
a bad
be
back or a weak back, don't
it's gonna be
bend.
useless
Let the
within
Ready
like a
Reacher grab
week
it
after
for
you buy it.
Find
I feel
anything from
like
a tiny eyeglass screw to a necklace, or pick up an entire set of keys with the incredible extendable Ready Reacher Pro. But order now and I'll double the value. Just pay additional processing and handling. That means you get 2 Ready Reacher Pros with
this
both
was
the
very,
super
very
sticky
fun,
tip
chat.
and the LED magnetic
I really,
tip,
really
all for
appreciate
just
that you all hung
$10.
out with me
So
for it.
call or click now.
And I'm glad that we're all getting kind of, you know, invested in this. So. But no, like, this begs to be played multiple times, I feel like. In order to see, you know, like, all of the different, you know, branches in the storyline that it has to offer. Like, how does Phenomenon fit into all this if you choose him to come with you on the Z team, right? These aren't a thing anymore, I think. Well, it's because they ran out of the sticky goo that was used, dude. All of the non-renewable resources used to make the sticky goo, that shit just ran out. It was inevitable. We simply ran out of dinosaur bones to make the Ready Reacher with.
Om nom nom. Oh, excuse me, we're back,
Either
my
that
dudes.
or either that or like all of them just got way too hairy. Hello. Welcome to the end of tonight's Lomboy Club meeting. Again, thank you all very much for hanging out tonight. Thank you for indulging in this game with me. I'm having such fun with it. I'm having so much fun with this game. And I hope that you guys are getting as invested in it as I am. For now, I must bid you all adieu. And I'll be back on Saturday with my friend Madam Universe for SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. We will get this belt off of Jack Swagger, dude. We have to. Please, I'm begging, someone take the belt off of him because it's honestly getting annoying. Anyways, we'll start the raid here. Here's the raid message. The forever champ. Yeah, in hell, dude. He's the forever champ in hell. I hate that. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's raid out to Blanc right now. There's the raid message right there. Copy and paste it. Use them if you got them. Them being the emotes. And I will see you on Saturday for Hell in a Cell. Bye.